Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I love this.
My name's Milne. # Glue Crew.
Our sports update deliverer, the Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today. You know what, Reid? You might have something.
All right, here's what's going on in the Nasty Shop. The catchiest hook in rock and roll history. Actually, music history. Sorry, I didn't mean to understate the greatness of that track. How you doing, everybody? Along with Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Nice surprise with my favorite song of all time off the top of the show. Jay, did you arrange that?
Yes. Yep. Koob and I had a little secret, special. We are celebrating show number 100. Whether you like it or not, we will be celebrating show number 100, and I thought, what better way to kick it off than with your favorite song of all time?
Well, that was great. It is show number 100, which I only know about because people have kept on bringing it up.
Yes,
but that's fine. That's fine.
See, that means it's important to them too.
Well, I understand. I don't want to downplay that show 100 is important for you because it's your first 100 shows.
It's not important for you?
In my life, I've done more than 100 shows, and I plan on doing several hundred more.
Well, that's all I need to hear.
Many hundred more.
That's good enough for me.
Just onward and upward for me.
You got it, Pontiac.
But I appreciate was it Rob in the Grove that's been counting every show off the top in the Nasty Chat?
Yes, Rob from the Grove has been our show counter from the start. So thank you for that.
All right. If you are in the Nasty Chat on YouTube, you can converse with us and with each other, and I'll give you an early reminder. Give us a thumbs up as we strive to get as many thumbs as possible, both for fun and both to get to our Word of the Day territory, which we'll do later in the show. A big focus of this program, of course, will be the Edmonton Oilers and tonight's game against the Detroit Red Wings. The Oilers are 32-15-3. The Red Wings are 24-21-5. They are 11-4-1 since Todd McClellan took over as head coach. John Klingberg will debut for the Edmonton Oilers. Kasperi Kapanen will not play, so Jeff Skinner is going to be in up front. They had an optional morning skate. You'll hear from Matthias Ekholm a little bit later on. He and Connor McDavid will wear A's at the Four Nations face-off for their respective nations. When we get to Ekholm a little bit later, he's not healthy. He sounds like he's in the throes of a cold, and of course he didn't skate yesterday, but he is expected to go tonight as the Oilers try to win their fourth in a row on Game 5 of this 6-game homestand. They lost the first game to Washington, and they've won the last 3. So 7 o'clock game right after our show ends, just before 6. We'll have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom and Hernan. And then the game at 7, and then that game on Saturday against the Maple Leafs is a 5 o'clock game, so that'll be a 4 o'clock pregame show to get you rolling. McDavid between Nugent-Hopkins and this is what we expect based on yesterday's lines. McDavid with Nugent-Hopkins and Brown, the PDA line, trying to get some public love. Podkolzin tries. I need a slogan for them. The PDA line looking for some love. Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique, Skinner, and Hyman expected to be aligned, so that leaves Philp, Janmark, and Perry. You can also email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and if you text 780-218-9999, you are using the River Cree afternoon inbox, River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. We have Ken. Okay, great. We got a very special guest right off the top of the show. Play-by-play voice for the Red Wings on 97.1 The Ticket out of Detroit. Ken Cal. Ken, you're on with Reid Wilkins and Jay Milne. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good this afternoon here in Edmonton, and this is the start of a 4-game trip for the Red Wings, and both teams have been on a little bit of a roll right now.
Well, yeah, and the Red Wings, the Oilers trying to fight for first in their division and maybe even first in the league. A different sort of battle here for the Red Wings, Ken. They have made up some ground. There might reach a point here where management is going to have to realistically look at their chances of making a playoff spot, and I know they are very close right now. But I assume between now and the trade deadline, very critical for Steve Yzerman and this team.
Well, you're right about that, but it's competitive in the Eastern Conference, and there's like 7 or 8 teams that are battling for not only third place in the Atlantic in that division, but also the 2 wild card spots, and it just doesn't seem like anybody is going away. Seems like there are teams that win some nights, teams that lose, and then the next couple of nights it's just the opposite. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get any type of separation at all. It just seems to me like there's going to be the same 6, 7 teams that are going to be battling for the final couple of playoff spots, the wild card spots. So it's going to be tough come trade deadline to see what teams are buyers and which teams are sellers.
Ken, you got Jay here, and as Reid alluded to off the top, the Red Wings are 11-4-1 under Todd McLellan. That's a great record. What's been the most notable difference under the new head coach?
Well, you hate to see a guy like Derek Lalonde leave. I thought he was a really good guy, and he was great to work with. Unfortunately, the team just wasn't playing well. And it just seemed like when Todd was hired as the new coach, instilled, like all new coaches, they instill a bump in your team, and the Red Wings went 7-1 in the first 8 games, and continued to play pretty well under Todd McLellan. But I think the difference right now is Todd's an experienced head coach. He's been around a long time, as you know. He was here in Edmonton, San Jose, Los Angeles. He knows how to win. He knows how to build a team and work with different players, whether they're young or veterans. And he just knows how to coach. And I just think that he's a very good teacher. And he came in at a critical situation for any head coach where you don't have a training camp, you don't know any of the players, you're brought right in, and you're expected to win right away. Well, certainly he's been able to do that.
All right, game coming up at 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. I'm just looking at the projected lineups. I don't think, well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if Talbot is starting tonight, but speaking of histories with McLellan, I mean, one of the best seasons in Cam Talbot's career, maybe his best season ever, was in 16-17 here in Edmonton when he led the Oilers to a playoff spot after they'd missed the playoffs for 10 straight years. That was an interesting year, Ken, because Connor McDavid won the Hart Trophy. I think a lot of Oilers fans might have said Cam Talbot was the team MVP because of they hadn't had such solid goaltending in such a while. I really enjoyed talking to Cam when he was here in Edmonton. Can you tell us a little bit about him as a Red Wing, and maybe has he been revitalized by having McLellan back as his coach?
Well, he's an interesting person, a very cerebral person. And, he just in talking with him as he was playing, I think he played at Alabama, wasn't it?
Alabama, Birmingham, yeah.
Yeah, Birmingham. And, you think of that program, it's not a very big program, obviously, but, he somehow found a way to get somehow into the National Hockey League. And he's been performing for many years and with many teams and put up some really good numbers in the National Hockey League. But like I said, he's a pretty cerebral player. And, he gets on stretches where he can actually give your team quite a lift. That's what I've noticed in the 1 year that he's been here in Detroit. And you just have to look at his last 9 games. He's 8-1, 8-1-0 in his last 9 games, and he's been really influential in the Red Wings winning and going far. I mean, right now, and I think right now the Red Wings have the most points of any team since right after Christmas, or they're right up there amongst the leaders. So the team's playing really well right now, and as you mentioned, you got to have great goalkeeping, and certainly Cam Talbot has been providing that. So is Alex Lyon, and Lyon will be your goaltender going into the game tonight against Edmonton.
All right. I got to ask you about an individual player, and I'm not going to ask you about your leading scorer. Nothing against Lucas Raymond. I'm going to ask you about a guy, and look, you see the Red Wings far more than I do, but I feel like whenever I see the Red Wings, I notice this player, and I think, God, this guy is smooth. Moritz Seider on D, 4 goals, 31 points in 50 games. I know he's a little bit minus, but I guess he probably plays a lot and against good players as well. Tell me a little bit about Moritz Seider. I just think he's a great player.
Well, he is, and we see him all the time. And when you think of defensemen in the National Hockey League, you always think of the high-scoring guys, the offensive, high-powered, offensive-type defensemen, guys like Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar. The difference with Mo Seider is he can provide offense for you, but he's also a very physical force back there on the blue line, and he's one of the team leaders in hits each and every game. So he can play any type of game you want to play. You want to play physical, he'll go out there and hit. You want to be offensive, he can get out there on the power play, make things happen. And even playing against the team's best players, he's been doing such a terrific job. The kid, I say he's a kid, but now he's a veteran right now. He's, in my eyes, he's 23 years old. He's one of the best defensemen, I think, in the National Hockey League. All-around defensemen. I mean, they're guys, like I said, and I mentioned their names, they're highly skilled, offensive-type defensemen. But when you look at the whole entire game of a defenseman, that's what Mo Seider provides. And he's been very, very solid since he came up to the National Hockey. Never missed a game in his National Hockey League career. So he's been an Ironman for Detroit and a very important defenseman back there on the blue line.
Ken Cal, Red Wings play-by-play voice, joining us this afternoon on the Reid Wilkins Show. Ken, appreciate you being so generous with your time. Just a couple more for you. I do want to ask you about a couple guys who aren't in the lineup today, and that is one former Oiler, Jeff Petrie, and then obviously, I know he's later in his career, but the still very exciting Patrick Kane. How long are these guys going to be out here?
Well, Petrie didn't make the trip, so obviously he's not going to be out here for the next 4 games out in Western Canada or 3 games in Seattle. So he's back in Detroit. He's got an undisclosed injury. He hasn't played for a while right now. But again, he's a veteran defenseman that can really add to your blue line core. And he was actually playing pretty solid hockey for the Red Wings. Then he got hurt. Patrick Kane, he was another guy that he was doing pretty well, got hurt, missed 6 or 7 games, came back and really was on fire and started putting points on the board, some game-winning goals, and then he got hurt again. So right now for Patrick, it's just trying to stay healthy. And, he's on the mend. He's close to coming back, and hopefully the Red Wings can get him in the lineup and add some of that offensive firepower.
Okay, and then my last one is not a hockey question. I think one of the most exciting stories of the fall and then into December and January was the Detroit Lions. And, I guess my question is, how's the city dealing with it? Because it was a great season, but they didn't get the fairy tale ending.
Oh, they're disappointed. I can tell you that right now. I'm a Lions fan, and I've been a season ticket holder, and I was 3 months old when they won their last championship, and that was back in 1957. This team has really been the doormat for many, many, many years, as people know, following NFL football. And then all of a sudden they hire Holmes as a general manager. They've got Dan Campbell as their head coach, and they've got a lot of firepower on their team. And it's unfortunate that they had so many injuries on their defense because they were playing with a makeshift defense there. And I'm here to tell you that if they were a healthy team, they'd probably win it all. I mean, that would be my assessment. But the problem is halfway through the season, they got injured. And I don't know, to be honest with you, how they did it, like how they went 15-2 and won their last 4 or 5 games with all the injuries they had on defense. So Campbell and company did a really good job. And unfortunately, it's like the NHL, right, guys? Sometimes when you win the President's Trophy, you don't win the Stanley Cup, and maybe next year the Lions can come back with a solid effort against some stiff opponents now. The Lions are playing some really tough teams next year on the road, so it's going to be a difficult task to win 15 more games, but hopefully they can make it to the playoffs and then have a deep run.
Ken, I just got to ask you one thing. It's Jay again here. Last night you guys arrived into Edmonton and you tweeted a picture from the tarmac from the plane that made it look like you were landing in the middle of Siberia. Why do you got to do us like that, Ken? You know Edmonton's more beautiful than that.
You know what? I just took the picture from the plane, but I want to say this. I love Edmonton. I really do, and I'll tell you why. Because Edmonton and the Red Wings have a long history together, and there have been so many great players that have come from Edmonton that were really big Detroit Red Wings and great players. going back to like Bruce McGregor and the days in the 60s. So I have a fond memory of Edmonton. I love the city. I really do. And I promise before I leave, I'm going to put up another picture and explain why.
Well,
but I didn't mean to do. I didn't mean to do Edmonton wrong. I really
no. Jay's giving you a hard time. I think Jay is not poking fun at you. I think he's poking fun at the location of our airport.
Yes.
I remember I saw the comedian Dennis Miller about 15 years ago when he came to town, and he goes, "I love these prairie cities because there's so much room. You can put the airport right downtown, right?" And everybody laughed, and then he goes, "The drive from the airport to downtown was longer than the flight to get to Edmonton." So I think that's where
you're right. It takes at least 40 minutes for us to get back, from the airport to where we're staying downtown.
Yeah. Okay. Ken, you're the best. My seat now is right in front of the visiting radio booth, so I'll get to hear you calling the game, and I'll try to give you a little wave and a thank you at some point. But you're always generous with your time. Thanks for hopping on Edmonton Sports Talk.
No problem. And come up, say hi in the radio booth there. And I'm telling you, we're a long ways away from the ice too here.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Sometimes it's kind of difficult to see the numbers out there.
You're not.
But hey, it's what, guys? It's radio, right? You just make it up. That's all.
Well, that's a good point. Ken, thanks for hopping on.
All right, thanks, guys.
That is Ken Cal, Red Wings play-by-play voice on 97.1 The Ticket. Longtime play-by-play of the Wings. Great guy, obviously very knowledgeable about the team. I didn't see that picture, so good for you for catching that. It does kind of.
You should have seen the comments after.
It looks like he's landing like north of Chip Lake or something to go ice fishing.
What were those animals that Luke Skywalker was?
The Tauntauns. Yeah, he's on his Tauntaun. And I know we touch on this occasionally, that a lot of play-by-play voices don't. Rogers Place is great. I find the media accommodations very, very comfortable for me. A lot of the play-by-play guys are like, my God, because you're not some buildings and at Rexall Place, Northlands Coliseum, Skyreach Center, whatever you want to call it, it had more of a catwalk type scenario. So you were actually on more over top. Like now the press box is at the top of the stands on the penalty box side, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Rexall Place, you were over top of sort of most of the second deck. So you weren't right over top of the ice, but you were more looking down on the ice. Whereas now it's more of a diagonal look down to the ice. So, that's why now the TV guys, the home TV guys, so Jack, call it from the
mezzanine
Cuthbert last year in the playoffs. They call it from the middle level. Yeah, I guess mezzanine. But everybody else is up high. And it's interesting sitting in front of the visiting play-by-play people now, because I pretty much hear them the entire game.
Right.
And there was a game on this homestand. I won't say which announcer, because I'm not trying to embarrass him, but I knew he blatantly called the wrong Oilers player. And then he passed to a player who scored. Right? So, but then when he gave out the assists, he just gave up. But yeah, it's
Is the Saddle Dome not one of the best?
I've actually never been up there for that crazy walk.
Because I've seen some play-by-play people say that this is the best because you're right on top of it.
Yeah, you're more over top of it. But yeah, I know that this broadcast location is not popular
because you're so far back too.
You're back. That's the thing. You're further away than the furthest away fan. Right, you're way up at the top there, as opposed to almost hanging over, part of the boards or whatever. Anyway, apparently, I think I'm comfortable calling him future Hall of Fame pitcher, Max Scherzer, apparently signing with the Blue Jays, still going at age 40, eh?
Yeah, and
he was with Texas last. He didn't throw a lot of innings for Texas though last year, did he?
I mean, this is a player that's been around a long time.
Yeah.
So how much is left in that arm? I'm not sure. Seems like it's being celebrated in the Nasty Chat.
Nasty Chatters like it.
I think it's just because it's a big name, but
because most of the Blue Jays most of the big names flirt with the Blue Jays to increase their value with other teams, don't they?
Yeah.
Isn't that sort of what's happened in the last 2 or 3 offseasons?
Was there a Scherzer jet? Like the Ohtani jet?
It is a very fast-sounding name.
Scherzer.
What airline are you taking? Scherzer. Oh, you'll be there in no time.
But they'd only have the Concorde planes?
Yes. Okay, good to have Ken Cal off the top of the show. Oilers and Red Wings tonight at 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. You're going to hear from Chris Knobloch, from Zach Hyman, and from Matthias Ekholm. Klingberg is in. We'll get some reaction to that. We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown, personal injury law firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Visit them, jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. We got Zachary Kubish with an update.
John Klingberg slots in for the Oilers. Well, Kasperi Kapanen is ruled out due to illness against the Red Wings, with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas teeing up the action during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6. Tune in right here on EST. And meanwhile, Sidney Crosby has been named as the captain for Team Canada, with Connor McDavid and Cale Makar serving as Canada's alternates at the Four Nations face-off. Plus, fellow Oiler Matthias Ekholm will be the assistant captain for Team Sweden, with Tampa Bay's Victor Hedman leading the charge for the blue and gold. Elsewhere, the Stars have listed Miro Heiskanen as week-to-week with a lower body injury, which rules him out for Team Finland at the Four Nations face-off. Staying in hockey, Carolina takes on Chicago, having 10 games in the NHL. Meanwhile, offensive lineman Brett Boyko has been released by the Elks, with the 32-year-old starting in 29 games over 2 seasons in Edmonton. And out east, Max Scherzer has agreed to a deal with the Blue Jays. 5 games in basketball has the Rockets and Grizzlies battling before the Magic take on the Trailblazers. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Find out how you can make an impact at findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. We have a brief intermission before the Reid Wilkins Show returns here on EST. I'm Zachary Kubish, and that was your sports update.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielson Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out. The grand opening sale ends soon.
Okay, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. Do you know we're out of water?
Not me, because I refill and reuse my water.
Oh, I should have done that. I used to always bring a mug to work, but there's been bottled water here, so I haven't been bringing it. And now
you become complacent.
There's no water. I've become complacent.
That's okay. It happens at every job.
100 shows in, I'm complacent. Tom Gazzola's in the nasty chat saying hello to everybody. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom.
You beautiful
I wonder
man.
what he'd put the odds at on him getting drafted in tomorrow's Handsome Man draft.
What did Matthew bring me?
Not water.
Nothing. Can Tom draft himself?
I would love it if you did.
Would that be cheesy if he drafted himself? He won't draft himself.
He would never.
He's too modest.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
Now, is Little Jingles eligible for the draft?
I think it has to be a human.
Well, you don't know what Quinn's going to have in the commissioner category. It
That's
could be
true.
most handsome animal.
Handsome dog.
Most handsome fictional animal.
This could be something.
Because you are having most handsome cartoon character, are you not?
Yes. I've got some locked in.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about the Handsome Man draft a little bit later on as we take you through the Reid Wilkins Show. Oilers and Wings coming up at 7 tonight at Rogers Place. 6 o'clock, Tom and Hernan with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. So Alex Lyon expected to start in goal for the Red Wings this season. He's 8-6-1, 901 save percentage, 2.68 goals against average. Stuart Skinner expected to go for the Oilers. 19-11-3, 902 save percentage, 2.69 goals against average against Detroit in his career. 1-1, 3.55 GAA, 908 save percentage. These two teams played back on October 27th, early in the season. Edmonton won 4-3 in Detroit. Leon Draisaitl got the overtime winner on a great feed from Matthias Ekholm, who you're going to hear from in a couple of minutes as we take you through the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. All right. John Klingberg will play tonight. Head coach Chris Knobloch said he will have, I guess, a variety of partners. I would expect he'll start off with Darnell Nurse. I would think it'll go Ek, Bouch, Nurse, Klingberg, Kulak, Emberson to start the game. But clearly he's going to cycle through as he plays in the NHL for the first time since November 11th, 2023. Here is fellow defenseman Matthias Ekholm on Klingberg.
Yeah, no, I think for him it's just a matter of getting games, right? Like he's been out for a bit with this injury, and I know it's hard to come back. And for him just to get some minutes under his belt, some games, some consistency with that, I think it's going to help tremendously. So at this point, I think we're all excited to have him and see what he can bring to us. But at the same time, we got to have some patience and understand that he's been out for a long time, and it's going to take some time to get back to his old ways where we all know how great he can be.
Well, they say Ekholm can play with some sandpaper. Doesn't sound good, does he?
What a voice.
Didn't skate yesterday because he was sick. I think he's still sick, but he's going to play. My goodness, I mean.
Yeah, that didn't sound great. But it does sound great, you know, that he has some background on Klingberg. There's how many? There's 4 Swedish players on the Oilers tonight.
What do we got?
Arvidsson, Ekholm, Klingberg, and Janmark.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad. You're flying the Swedish flag. Maybe.
We do the Swedish national anthem before games. So that's Ekholm. So you heard him there. He clearly is getting over an illness. And, you know, some other guys have been sick over the last week or week and a half. But it sounds like Ekholm's going to tough it out tonight, hopefully sleeping all afternoon to get ready for the game. I just want to say something here about John Klingberg. And Ekholm touched on it, and I think he's partially doing this to protect a teammate too. But it's game 1. Might take him a while to get up to speed. One of the reasons when this was rumored to be a possible signing that I wasn't thrilled about it is that he hasn't played a game in 14 months. Now, there is some run up to the postseason here for the Oilers. There is some time for him to get his game up to speed. He's coming in for Stetcher, who, as we've often said, works as hard as he can, but I think is limited talent-wise. So he's going to slide in there. I just personally, I would put the cap on this speculation or talk or these questions that John Klingberg will replace Evan Bouchard. I don't think there's a chance of that happening in terms of being on the Oilers long term or for several seasons. I get the discussion about Bouchard's contract and is he going to make a lot of money, and there's other guys that make a lot of money. I get I get that when Bouchard has a bad game, it tends to be a very loud bad game. It's not, there was that one play he leaned left when he should have leaned right, and he was half a second slow getting to this guy. It's like, no, he turned the puck over in front of his own net 4 times. I get that. But John Klingberg, to me, is here to upgrade on Troy Stetcher or Josh Brown or whoever has been cycling through there. He is not here, I don't believe, in any way as a trial to see if he can replace Evan Bouchard. I don't believe that. I've seen that question. I've seen that question in our chat. I've seen that come up, when I look at YouTube and Oilers fans post videos and the titles are like, Bouchard on the way out because of Klingberg? Settle down, everybody. Settle down.
Reid, I don't know where this narrative came from. Okay, you're talking about a player in Bouchard, and yes, as you said, the mistakes are loud. They're noticeable. And it's just a general demeanor in his defensive game that probably pisses some people off. Okay? But when he shocks and awes you in the offensive zone and continues to play and is part of that magical offensive zone pressure that the Oilers could do, it's not remembered as loudly as the mistakes. Mm-hmm. Okay? This is a player in Bouchard that was on the cusp of playing for Team Canada. Call it what it is, the Four Nations face-off. But this is a preview, most likely, of what's to come in the next Winter Olympics. Okay, this is now a player that was even... the name is escaping me for some reason, but the Pietrangelo bowed out was top of the list to replace it. That is not a player you move away from. Okay? The day that this signing happened, the talk was, okay, this adds depth at a cheap option. That's it. That's it. Anything above that is a major win, given the number that you signed this player for. But I don't know where the narrative came from that would suggest that this is, Bouchard better be looking over his shoulder. That's just simply not accurate.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all. Look, we've talked to death about Bouchard's shortcomings, but let's not ignore the good things that he does. I mean, he's an excellent, if not elite, point-producing defenseman. Like, here's the thing. This year he has 37 points in 50 games, and there's a lot of discussion that it's looking like a down year for him because he had 82 and 81 last year. He does not have a power play goal. Dusty, by the way, predicted a power play goal tonight for Bouchard. Did he not?
I like that
because the Wings PK is, what's the percentage again? Is 69.6%. They're not even last. They're second last in the NHL. Wings have a good power play, by the way. So let Klingberg hopefully replace Stetcher. Let him see what he can do. I mean, maybe he can maybe he can get power play time. Maybe Bush is having a tough game. He can come on a little earlier as sort of a second unit guy. But I just look, I see what's popping in, everybody. I know how Bouchard plays, okay? I've seen every game Bouchard has played in the NHL. I talked about him after the Washington game, how frustrating he can be. But don't ignore the upside and don't ignore the age. Like, he just turned 25 in October. And you know what? When there is a new contract for Bouchard, and I do think it's going to be with the Oilers, I think there are a lot of people who are going to say it's too much. But you're not going to let Evan Bouchard walk or trade him so you turn the power play and the number one offensive defenseman role over to John Klingberg. That doesn't make sense to me. That defies logic, I would think.
It's a talking point because I think their style of play is so similar. They're both very much so offensive defensemen. Now, don't forget, Klingberg, like you said, hasn't played since November 11th, 2023. That's a long time ago. A lot can change. Now, hopefully, I mean, I thinking of this from an Oilers perspective or an Oilers fan's perspective, this came in cheap. It's a flyer. You hope that you can add some depth. That's it. So, just hope that happens. That would be great. If Klingberg can become part of your top four, that would be a win, given the terms of this deal.
All right. I started following a guy on Twitter the other day, at Oiler Alert. His name is, I don't know how to say it, Adhi, A-D-H-I. And he says, per natural stat trick, Evan Bouchard at 5-on-5 this year without McDavid or Draisaitl on the ice. His goals for percentage is 53%. Expected goals for, which I know some people laugh at, is almost 55%. And the high danger chances for are 54%. Because I saw somebody just put in the nasty chat, he's a product of playing with McDavid and Draisaitl. According to those, he isn't. That even when those two guys aren't on the ice, there's more at the other team's net than at the Oilers' net. And yes, does he benefit from being on the power play? Yes, he does, but there's a reason on the power play. It's because he's good with the puck and he can shoot, even though he doesn't have a power play goal this year. So I hope Klingberg plays well. But I also, I guess I'm confused. And this is one of those things you can try to change my mind. And I think I've been pretty... Well, I mean, I feel I've been pretty thorough, and I think you have too, Jay, talking about Bouchard. Yes, he makes mistakes, but let's not look at the mistakes and downplay the good things that he does. I mean, yes, I know sometimes he tries a drag move and loses the puck, and you get mad. How many times does he get by the guy and get the puck up the ice? I mean, generally, despite his shortcomings, and no player is perfect, everybody, despite his shortcomings, usually the puck is going north when he's on the ice. Normally. I don't think you can just focus on the mistakes and say, I want this guy off the team. I mean, to win a Stanley Cup, you need to have mistake-free players, and I wish he was more of that, and players who can push the pace and make plays at the other end. If you only have one or the other, you might be a good team. You won't be a great team. That's how I feel. I know some people don't like the advanced stats, but there's a lot of stats that back up that that's what he does as well.
Yeah, and most of the discussion that's coming in is very pro Bouchard, and like you said, Charlie Dufault says I like Bouchard. He should be in Winnipeg. Other markets would beg for a defenseman like Evan Bouchard.
Well, look, and I'm not saying this to pick on Oilers fans or anything like that. I don't want to come across that way. But, I can remember that there were a vocal amount of people that I certainly heard it on the shows I was on, who about, when would have it been, 10 years ago? Draisaitl's never going to work out. He can't skate. They won't be able to, they're not going to bring him along properly. We got to trade this guy. Let's get a defenseman. He's got a Hart Trophy and he might have two. So, look, I'm not saying Bouchard's going to be the caliber of Draisaitl, but don't only look at a player's flaws. How would you like to be, people always get mad when I do this, but how would you like to be treated that way in your workplace? Hey, come to my office, Billy. Billy, you hit your sales targets. You You bought everybody lunch that day. You said you were going to buy everybody lunch. You showed up for work every single day, even early some days. But I asked you to clean the kitchen, and you forgot to clean off that one shelf in the fridge. Get out. You're fired. Like, that's absurd.
Sounds like those guys. That
Sounds like Constable Huggins on the police force. Okay. Anyway, Chief Andy, the Jets aren't doing that trade. Okay? So let's...
Lots of commentary coming in, Reid, so we'll get to those after the break as well. A lot of... this is a polarizing discussion. Fair to say? Maybe not so much for you, but for our listeners, there's a lot of pro-Bouchard. There's a lot of anti-Bouchard.
But again, I don't know what you're anti if you're anti-Bouchard. Like, what are you anti? That he makes mistakes?
Well, here's the thing. Liquid Beaver says this. Hey, boys, I can live with his mistakes. What I can't live with is his lack of urgency and lack of awareness in the defensive zone.
Mm-hmm.
That did not mention anything about his offensive capabilities.
Mm-hmm. I wish he appeared to show more intensity too. I agree. But, let's not think that a guy who defends better but can't get any points is going to help the team more overall as a whole. Either. Kamikaze Rob says that's a false equivalency, Reid. Points for using the term false equivalency. Rob, I'm trying to give a real world example. And I don't think it's a false equivalency. I think you're nitpicking and you're refusing to think about what I'm saying. Just my response. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. We'll get to some more clips from the boarding skate. Here comes the coop.
John Klingberg makes his Oilers debut while Kasperi Kapanen sits out due to illness when Edmonton takes on Detroit. And you can get set for the action right here on EST when we go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas at 6. And the Four Nations captains have been announced. Today, Sidney Crosby will lead Team Canada with Connor McDavid and Cale Makar as the alternates, with fellow Oiler Mattias Ekholm serving as Sweden's alternate. Victor Hedman captains the Swedes, and Alexander Barkov leads Finland, while Austin Matthews sports the C for the Americans. And 9 other games dot the NHL slate, including the Jets against the Bruins, the Wild challenging the Canadiens in LA on the road in Tampa Bay. In the CFL, the Elks have released Brett Boyko after he spent the last 2 seasons with the clubs, playing in 29 games for the Green and Gold, while in Toronto, Max Scherzer and the Jays have agreed to a 1-year deal. On the court, the Timberwolves battle the Jazz, having 5 games around the association. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. They're more than just plywood. They offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. They have a huge selection of hardwoods and knowledgeable staff, and they're there for your DIY needs. Windsor Plywood Leduc, they're the experts you need to know. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break here on EST. I'm Zachary Kubish.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of Injury Law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right. Thanks a lot for checking out the show today. Oilers and Red Wings at 7 o'clock. We will have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6. John Klingberg making his Oilers debut tonight. Kapanen will not play. He was one of the guys who was sick yesterday. Ekholm still sounds sick from that clip that we played, but he is good to go. Lots in the nasty chat. I'm not going to read everything. I'll just find some clips here or find some comments. Jeffy says, despite all of the obvious blunders and sometimes lack of urgency, Bouchard still outchances and outscores the opponent with or without Draisaitl and McDavid. Outscoring is the whole point of the game. After all, Obelisk 21, hope I'm saying that right, says Bouchard in the last two playoffs is way ahead of anyone else at that time. 18 points, with the next closest being Morgan Riley at 13, so that's for defensemen. Big Slam Nasty says sometimes Bouch is that one stoner kid working at Domino's, head in the clouds and serving up pizza. Deskra says Bouchard pizza up the middle versus Toronto and throwing the game is minus millions on the contract. Well, I guess we'll see. Deskra, I gave stats without McDavid and Draisaitl. I gave some anyway. And Deskra also wants to remove secondary assists. I'll tell you what, Deskra, if you have that data, then send it to us. I can't look up everything on the fly. So if you don't think secondary assists should count towards a player's production, you can go on the NHL site and search that, but you can't just search it for Bouchard. You have to remove it for every player in the league and see how that affects their point.
Well,
total.
you love emails. Send it to Reid.
Send it to me, yeah.
Reid at EdmontonSports.com.
But it's just if you're going to do a project like that, I think that's cool, and I'd love to see it. But I remember a few years ago, like the Oilers were under Tippett, like they were sort of 9th, 10th in the league, and they were having a good run. And Rob and I were doing overtime open line, and they're playing well. And this guy called in and said, "You guys are out to lunch. They're not a very good team." And we said, "Okay, well, why aren't they a very good team?" And he said, "Well, they have like 8 overtime losses or something. And if you took away that point, they dropped from like 9th to 18th or 20th or something." And Rob said, "Yeah, but did you recalculate the standings for every team?" And the guy said, "No." He goes, "Well, if you're going to subtract the Oilers' overtime losses, you have to also subtract every other team's overtime losses if you're not going to give them a point for that in your own fictional NHL." So Desker, absolutely. If you want to run the stat and send it to me, read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the adjusted scoring race with secondary assists not being a point, I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it.
Well, Roe Nelson's behind Bouchard. So if Roe's behind Bouchard, that's a positive sign. Bouchard is 9th in points for the NHL, top 10 scoring defenseman, and first in plus minus, while being the second youngest on the list behind just Hudson.
He does a lot of good things. He makes frustrating errors, and as I've said, that may never totally leave his game. And I know people don't like it when I say that either. People don't like a lot of things I say, which is okay. I just ask you to think. And again, if you want to prove a point or put forward an argument, we'll take it. You just got to be thorough with it. You got to say, okay, here's my argument, because here's what I'm not saying that this person, whoever, Death Screw, whoever would do that, but you can't just subtract Bouchard's secondary assists and say, oh, look, so now his points dropped by 14. Well, maybe Cale Makar's dropped by 16. Maybe McDavid's dropped by 20. I don't know all the secondary assists off the top of my head. All right. Mex Bezzozo says, Jay Milne should know he is one of the best secondaries Alberta has produced. Get it? Because you were a defense. You played in the secondary. You were a defensive back. Do you remember when you did that?
Well, and I am your secondary as well. I'm probably the best.
Well, you're my colleague.
I'm Robin to your Batman.
God.
And I would be honored if somebody put me in the top 5. That'd be an honor. You know, second hand, second fiddles.
What?
Like your sidekick. I'm your sidekick, right?
No, you're the co-host.
You're being modest. Hey, I'll tell you, Reid, it's a good thing you're not sensitive.
About what?
About anything. Because, people often, come at you quite aggressively. It's a good thing you're not sensitive about that.
Oh, that like I look for slights and things to get mad about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or take things too seriously. Or, we're just having fun talking about sports.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Right? It's fun to talk about sports. Like if I put forward an idea and somebody said they didn't like that analysis, I wouldn't spend days going back at that person. Or I might say, okay, well, I think you're wrong. Or I might say, well, I don't feel you've adequately rebutted my argument, but I wouldn't get into a personal vendetta with
But
that
I
person.
think that's why you've grown as such a legend in Edmonton, is because you accept other people's opinions and you say, hey, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Yeah, there's a point where I'm just going to stop arguing and walk away and say, okay, that's interesting. We talked about it.
And that's why we've gotten to show 100, Reid.
Yeah,
now, I do have
right.
a little bag over here that I want to get to
my
eventually.
God.
I
thought that was for Awanik's birthday.
No, I gave him
Which, by
beef
the
jerky.
way, let's do the off-topic topic now before we get to the other clips. It's Matthew Awanik's birthday, so our off-topic topic is for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website, williamhuff.com. Give them a shout, 780-454-4536. William Huff, the providers of the brand new sign on our building here in the Mayfield area.
Yes.
It looks incredible. It went up, during the show yesterday?
Yeah, we could hear them.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So William Huff, an outstanding company and great friends of EST. Give us the thumbs up on YouTube, by the way. I'm not sure what the delay is. We could be in record-setting territory if everybody just went in and gave us the thumbs up. Our off-topic topic is what's your favorite thing about Matthew Awanik? Our coup, our COO.
And this is fitting because it's his birthday
today.
There he is.
He's somewhere between the age of 26 and 76.
That's good.
Sometimes his personality could fall anywhere in that spectrum.
Great point.
So your favorite, we give him a hard time a lot, but I hope he can't hear us right now, is he's an incredibly kind, considerate, focused, hardworking human being.
He really keeps this place together, I would say. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody knows. But I will say, my what did you say the question was? Is your favorite thing about Matthew Awanik?
What's your favorite thing about Matthew Awanik?
Oh, my favorite thing about Matthew Awanik is his 6 o'clock shadow.
Permanent.
Yeah, permanent. That guy never, I don't know what razor he uses, but that thing is always the same. It's always on par. A little scruff, a little darkness on the face. I would like him to try and grow it out so I could see he's adamant that he will not. But I got to give a guy credit. When he has that much, that scruff, I think that's my favorite thing about the coup.
I'll give mine later.
You will.
Maybe. All right. Portions of this hour, by the way, presented by Canadian Brewhouse. Book your party at the CBH today, your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. You'll want to celebrate, go to the Canadian Brewhouse. Book it now at CanadianBrewhouse.com. Let's get to a couple more clips here. So Klingberg is in. We had Ekholm talking about that. Ekholm has been named assistant captain, alternate captain for Sweden at the upcoming Four Nations face-off. Victor Hedman is going to be the captain. Here's Chris Knobloch talking about Ekholm.
He's definitely one of the leaders in the room. We're the oldest team in the NHL, and we've got a lot of veterans. And he doesn't wear a letter on our team, but he's definitely one of our leaders. And a lot of guys have a lot of respect for him, for the person that he is, the work that he puts in. And obviously you see it every night, what he does on the ice, whether it's playing against other teams' top lines, blocking shots, the penalty kill. He does so much. But, I'm not surprised that they would announce that he'd be one of the captains.
All right, and we mentioned the Detroit Red Wings, bad PK, but really good power play, and 11-4-1 under Todd McLellan. Chris Knobloch with more on the Wings.
The biggest one is how well their power play's been going. I think in January, about 37%, and getting them a lot of goals. So I think 16 goals in January. So, I think it starts there, staying out of the box as much as we can. And then when we are shorthanded, our penalty killers have a big job.
All right. Yeah, it could be, special teams usually are important. They usually have been in the Oilers' favor. Okay, here's a question for you, Jay.
Let's hear it.
Well, maybe we can do this buying or selling, too. So you don't have to answer now. The Oilers' PK has been more important to their success this season than the power play. Think about it.
I know my answer.
Well, it's probably an obvious question. Or it's probably a question with an obvious answer, but perhaps worth discussing. Let us get to Zach Hyman, who is expected to be on a line today with Henrique and Skinner. Haven't seen him all the time with McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins lately. Here's Hyman on moving those lines around.
Yeah, they change up all the time, obviously, so it depends on the game and how the game's going, but I think we have a ton of depth on our team. We've got incredible players. We've got guys who are really good players who don't play every night because we've got so many of them, which is a great problem to have, a harder problem for the coaching staff to kind of figure out that. But I think the way that our team is built is we've got a lot of depth.
I know we've had discussion for the past couple of weeks, and there are some people who don't get why Hyman would be quote-unquote moved down. I certainly understand that. I think that with the team playing well, McDavid was suspended too, so that affected the line combinations. I think it's somewhat of a reward for Connor Brown, who's solid. I don't know if he's going to score at the pace it was hoped when he was first signed a couple of summers ago. And as we've said, it gives kind of the Oilers more of a steady top line, maybe with the lines this way, though it's not as if Connor Brown was doing bad on the third line either. I think right now the team is winning, playing well, playing consistent, gives you the opportunity to look at some things and maybe have some further options. And don't forget, Hyman, one of his goals was like halfway through a line change, because remember, Philp passed him the puck. So the way Hyman plays, he usually can make an impact regardless of who he's with, because he checks hard, he skates hard, and he gets to the front of the net. Probably going to get more chances if he's on McDavid's line, but maybe Brown gets those tonight. Okay, quick scene set there from the rink. It's a game day, Jay. You know what that means? Woo! Means Jay goes like that. Woo! By the way, Iwanek being praised for his organization and dedication, which I would agree with. You read.
Max Pizzozu says, I like when he addresses the people that are only listening because they are not on YouTube. Like during the hangout, he looks at the camera as if he's piercing you with those steely,
piercing, handsome eyes,
steely hazel eyes. Big Uke says, as much as he gets ripped on, he's a good sport. Plus, none of the EST majors would happen without him. He does great work. Chief Andy says, Iwanek is very organized, very OCD-esque. Maddie's dedication is second to none. Iwanek is the Ekholm to Dusty's Bouchard. Wow, way to bring it.
Oh, wow, jeez.
And we are looking for the coup limericks, right? We're looking for.
Oh, I'd love if we got some Matthew Iwanek themed limericks for the off-topic topic for William Hoff. Read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com is where you can send those.
And Adam in Quebec City says about the off-topic topic, it's his willingness to talk footy. So there you go.
Yeah, good point.
Don't give up on that.
He knows more about the European football.
And Abutsky did send in a limerick. Please send in some Maddie-themed limericks. But this one is from Bootski. Koob, let's hit the music. Congrats on your 100th show. We really enjoy your sick flow. Reid making a dunk and Jay gluing junk. Now send me a canned ham. Let's go!
Oh, wow. Still wants the canned hams. I don't have any. Canned hams or canned ham t-shirts. We'll figure out a shirt that's themed to me or this show at some point.
And this one came in from Scott in a hotel balcony in Beaumont.
Back on the hotel balcony.
Back on the balcony.
That's amazing.
There was a defenseman named Bouchard. In his own end, looked like he was skating in lard. He had quite a blast. The puck entered the net very fast. God, I hope it doesn't hit me in the nards.
Well, did not Hyman get hit there?
Yeah.
And then he got hit in the face later on in the season. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We can get to 100. Actually, we could get to like over 150 very, very quickly if everybody just clicked. We got to do, Koob, just give me a sec here because we moved this back a little bit because we had Ken Cal off the top of the show. Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. You're invited down tonight for the Oilers game. You can join them Fridays and Saturdays after 9 p.m. for the late night happy hour specials. The food starts at $4. The drinks start at $3.75.
Wow.
Book your reservation now at hudsonscanadaspub.com. You're trying to win a $25 GC to Hudson's Canada's Pub. You must text your guesses to 780-218-9999. I give up to 5 clues over the course of the show, or less than 5 if somebody gets it sooner. The first clue is park. The first clue is park. More on the Oilers and the Wings. And what about this quarter century team the Oilers announced? Coming up on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielson and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Your home for live music and great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
On the patio, there's whiskey in the jar.
March 14th, don't miss the Kings of Celtic. The legendary Irish Rovers play the venue at the River Cree.
Hey boys, sing us a song. One of the old ones and we sing along.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you gotta do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your bad game. Play more tables and games.
PlayMoreGames.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Kasperi Kapanen sits out with illness while John Klingberg suits up in his first game for Edmonton when the Oilers play the Red Wings. You can catch Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show as they go live to tee up the action right here on EST. In the Four Nations Face-Off leadership group has been unveiled with Sidney Crosby, Austin Matthews, Victor Hedman, and Alexander Barkov captaining Team Canada, the United States, Sweden, and Finland, respectively, with Cale Makar and Connor McDavid serving as Canada's alternates, while Matthias Ekholm rocks the A for the Swedes. In Finland, we'll miss Miro Heiskanen as he's been ruled out for the Four Nations face-off due to an injury he suffered Tuesday night when absorbing a knee-on-knee hit from Mark Stone of the Golden Knights. And back in the NHL, the Islanders Islanders face the Flyers. The Ducks and Flames drop the puck while the Caps battle the Senators with 9 games around the league. And for the Elks, they've released offensive lineman Brett Boyko after he suited up in 29 games over the past 2 seasons with the green and gold. And in baseball, the Jays and Max Scherzer have agreed to a 1-year deal. 5 games dot the NBA slate, which includes Memphis hosting Houston. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
What do you think of the Elks getting rid of Boyko quickly?
Just a casualty of bonuses that are coming up this next week.
Okay.
You'd like to keep them all, but you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he was overpaid per se, but there's roster bonuses right around this time of year with free agency coming up. Is the tampering window open? Or what do they call it? The early discussion window? We have a tampering window courtesy Nisku Glass right here. It was more for Dustin and Eric, but sometimes we
they
look
love their
through it
tampering
as well.
window.
Like how they have all the
we'll
logos
look through
on
this,
it as well. All right. Appreciate you tuning in this afternoon. Oilers getting set to go against the Wings tonight. Face off about 3 hours away, so we're about 2 hours away from our pregame show with Tom and Hernan. They'll take over the stream after we sign off at 6 o'clock. So John Klingberg is in. If you haven't heard that by now, Kapanen not going to play, so that means Jeff Skinner will play. So I would expect Troy Stetcher comes out on the blue line. We'll see how Ekholm feels. Let's just play. Can you just play just a bit of the Ekholm clip so people can hear his voice if they missed it earlier?
Yeah, no, I think for him it's just a matter of getting games, right? Like he's been out for a bit with this injury, and I know it's hard to come back. And for him just to get
that sounds bad.
His belt.
Yeah, he does. He just. We know how that feels.
We've all been there.
I probably wouldn't be, we wouldn't be playing in the NHL. I don't know if I'd be doing much physical if I felt the way his voice sounds.
You know, sometimes a good sweat, though, does wonders for the cold.
Yeah, you never know. And he's
right?
probably sleeping all afternoon, and I'm sure he's getting whatever vitamins or treatments he needs to get ready for the game tonight against Detroit. The Wings leading scorer, I asked about Moritz Seider, of course, who's a defenseman. Lucas Raymond having a really good year, 56 points in 50 games, including 20 goals. And Dylan Larkin as well, good skater up front, 21 goals, 47 points in 50 games. Alex Lyon, not Cam Talbot, will be the starter tonight for the Red Wings. Okay, the Oilers put out, where's my sheet here? There it is. They put out, so teams around the NHL are doing this, and the Oilers announced their quarter century team. So these are the players who were eligible. Anybody who's played at least one game for the franchise since January 1st, 2000. That's what they did for the cutoff day. And this is going to be our afternoon debate for Edmonton Garrison Curling Club. If you and your team are looking for a fun and exciting way to build some chemistry, look no further than the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Curling Club, located on CFB Edmonton. The Garrison Curling Club offers 6 sheets of ice, a full-service bar with kitchen, and includes all equipment needed for corporate bonspiels. And the Garrison Curling Club, run by Nasties. As an added bonus, they'll offer 10% off ice rentals to all EST listeners. Email curling@egmgolf.com. Mention Edmonton Sports Talk to book your corporate bonspiel today. So this is a fun one to discuss. Here's the Oilers also. So they did a first and second team. 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a D. Okay? So the first team is Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, Bouchard, Nurse, and Rolison in net. So 5 guys who are on the team, current team, I should say, and the goalie from the 06 run and other seasons. The second team, Hemsky, Horkoff, and Smith. Ryan Smith, obviously. Then Ekholm with Jason Smith on the blue line and Tommy Salo in net. So this one is fun to discuss. Now, Hernan, did you talk about Waite on your show? So Hernan said, what about Doug Waite? The problem for Doug Waite is he only played 126 games after January 1st, 2000.
Right.
So even though he had good stats, didn't play enough. But I also like looking at points per game. So McDavid 1.52, Draisaitl 1.20. Doug Weight was at 1.06. Who do you think is next in points per game for the Oilers for forwards? I didn't ask you this earlier. I was curious to see who you would have said because I wouldn't have guessed this player. So points per game for the Oilers since January 1st, 2000. The top three are McDavid, Draisaitl, and Weight in a lot fewer games.
Hemsky?
Nope. Hemsky's 11th in points per game.
No.
Horkoff is
points per game.
Points per game.
How many is there? Was this a quick hit?
No. This guy's played a lot of games for the Oilers. Like, well, a good chunk now. A good chunk now. He's on the team.
Would it be Hyman?
Zach Hyman. 0.87.
Wow. I just thought we were going old timey.
No.
Wow,
so now part of the Hemsky, Horkoff played in lower scoring eras. I think sometimes with a list like this, and who did it say pick this? Jay and I were not selected to pick it. It was selected by broadcasters, both national and local, and NHL.com writers who have covered the respective teams, in addition to select former players. I don't know if the Oilers, and I doubt they would announce. I would assume Stoff had, I'm going to assume, I don't know anything. I would assume Stoff had a pick. I would assume Derek Van Diest had a pick. I would assume. I had a ballot. I don't know for sure, but I'm making that assumption. It is interesting to me because it's a combination. All right, so here's the number one. Chris Pronger. Should he be on this team?
Why not? There's no stipulation. You said you have to play more than one season.
Right. It specifically says that you have to have played at least one game since January 1st, 2000. So in other words, one exceptional season should be enough to put you on the team.
So how can Rollison be in if Chris Pronger's not in?
Well, Rollison played
longer, but they, that was the time to shine for both of them.
So when I saw this list, now it's not all stats, right? It's a bunch of different things. Okay, so McDavid and Draisaitl are obviously on the first team. Obviously. Why is Hyman not the third forward? He had a 54-goal season. He's played 280 games. That's a pretty good chunk.
Why is Hyman not even on this list?
Right.
Right?
Now, Hemsky was very, very good. His points per game was .73. He played 652 games with the Oilers. And again, he did play in a bit of a lower scoring era. Sean Horkoff, points per game is .56. But he played 796 games. So I think the longevity there is being rewarded. Now, there are some guys ahead of Horkoff who only played a few games, but wouldn't be anywhere near the top 20.
Well, they're obviously taking longevity into this. Obviously. And the Oilers way.
Except for players. Who's the defenseman on the second team? Matthias Ekholm.
Yeah. Yeah, so
who's less than 2 years.
True enough.
These lists are fun.
I wonder if there's recency to keep the current.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, is Darnell Nurse worthy of being on the first team?
Well, that's a great question, right? Like, would you put Ekholm?
I would have Ekholm up there instead of Darnell.
So
Nurse.
what's the Well, I guess that's why there's
everybody's
votes
gonna look
and
at
it's people's
it differently,
opinions,
right? Yes.
But what's the balance between just sustained, you're really, really good, maybe you're excellent sometimes? Like with Nuge, you'd say generally he's a very good player who's had a couple of excellent seasons.
Who's the third most important player in the Oilers right now?
Well, okay, Tommy did his rankings of importance. Like, wouldn't it be McDavid,
Draisaitl,
Skinner for importance?
You wouldn't say Ekholm?
Ekholm would be in the top 5 probably. He'd be extremely important.
He's very important to the success of this team.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. But just for their performance as an Oiler this century, I mean, originally I was like, well, why isn't Ryan Smith on the first team with McDavid and Draisaitl? That was my first thought.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan Smith, 467 points in 664 games, .70 points per game. I guess the one guy I should leave out Samsonov, and even Guerin only played 65 games in this century as an Oiler, so he kind of doesn't really count either. Should the first two defensemen? Okay, my first team defenseman. Okay, if we're excluding Pronger, and that's a big if, because if we're including Pronger, to me he's on the first team. I think when the Stanley Cup final ended in 2006, he should have won the Conn Smythe Trophy. And I think at that moment in time, at that sliver in time, he was the best hockey player on the planet.
Yes. Now, if you're including Pronger, or if you're including Ekholm, you need to include Pronger. If the time or term of play is not the driving factor here,
right?
Because clearly it's not, because Ekholm's on the list.
He's less than 2 years.
But he's on the current team.
Jason Smith, to me, should be on there.
Sure, yes.
I mean, just a solid player. We've talked about Bouchard. Again, you can't ignore his points production if we're picking all-star type teams for a century. So then we get into this area with Ekholm, with Nurse, with Pronger. And I guess we should say, I know Nurse gets crapped on, and some of that was the contract, and we wish he would have played a little better in the final third of last regular season and most of the playoffs. He's still a very good player as well. You don't want to downplay that either.
Yes, but you're putting together a list of the top 10 players from this century,
right?
And I honestly, when I first looked at this, the biggest glaring error for me, or thing that I thought was Nude being on the first team.
Okay,
right?
Here's another guy we haven't brought up. This guy played 381 games as an Oiler. He had 328 points for a .86 points per game played. His tenure with the Oilers would have been in a slightly lower scoring era. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
I'll give you a hint. He got traded a few days ago.
I was just reading a message. Sorry.
He got traded a few days ago. Taylor Hall. He was a very good, and I don't think you can say, well, he was on crappy teams, so he doesn't count. He was a really, really good player. Who would you sooner have on your team in his prime, Sean Horkoff or Taylor Hall? To me, there's no debate.
Taylor Hall.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this is also measuring their tenure as an Oiler, so Horkoff played about twice as long, but I would argue was not as impactful as Hall was. Now, Horkoff was on the 06 team and was their first center for a couple of seasons and all that kind of stuff. We haven't even touched the goalies yet. You got messages?
Yes, people have said they've emailed their limerick to you for a while.
I got a couple. I'll do a couple after the break.
One of the best additions to this team in the McDavid era was Hyman. K-Dubs. Haven't seen that handle in the chat. Nice seeing it. Thanks for listening. Jeff Waywitka and Eric Brewer should have been selected on the second team because he got us Chris Pronger, who would be on the first team. Interesting.
And then there's a vote for Hall and a vote strongly against having Taylor Hall.
That's correct.
On the team. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? The
Grumpy Cat chimes in the River Cree inbox. Yakupov.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Let me put it to you this way and to the nasties this way. Of the players who are on this Oilers quarter century team. So again, if you're just joining us on YouTube, keep hitting that thumbs up. Oh, Steve Johnson, I got something for you. Hang on, baby. Something good. Steve's like, what the hell is this Reid guy threatening me? No, hang on, Steve Johnson. I got a great fun fact. Okay, no, I got a trivia question for Steve Johnson. I don't have anything. Steve Johnson is the only one who's allowed to answer this in the nasty chat. He can't win anything except having fun with me. Steve Johnson, which first overall draft pick in the NHL history played for the most teams? Okay. I looked this up on the weekend with, I was talking to Tim Shipton during an intermission at the last Oilers game, and then The Athletic did an article on it. So maybe Steve read that. No, he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Steve, see if you can think of it. I had to look it up. It wasn't the guy I thought. Steve, I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to assume you know this. I'm guessing you'll know this player. Okay, so I'm all over the map. Imagine that. What did we get a winner already?
No, we've given out one clue, and it's Park.
Okay. Oh, the next clue in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game is 17, by the way. The next clue is 17. So here are the 12 players selected to the Oilers' quarter-century team. Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, Hemsky, Horkoff, Ryan Smith, Bouchard, Darnell Nurse, Ekholm, Jason Smith, Dwayne Rollison, and Tommy Salo. Which of those are stone-cold, undeniable locks that they should have been on this team? So Draisaitl, McDavid.
Yes. Now, are we differentiating between first and second team?
No, just that they should be one of the 12, 6 forwards, 4D or 2 goalies. Draisaitl, McDavid. I would go so far as to say Jason Smith should be a lock.
I think that's fair.
Because then with Ekholm, you get into the longevity factor. And then if Pronger is there, who does he bump off? Yes, well, Steve, which NHL first overall draft pick played for the most teams in his career? It's more than Hall getting to 7. And quite frankly, I think the goalie... we'll do the goalie debate when we get back.
Sure.
Oilers and Wings tonight. The 2 clues in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game are Park and 17. Here comes Zachary Kubish.
John Klingberg slots in for the Oilers while Kasperi Kapanen is ruled out due to illness against the Red Wings, with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas teeing up the action during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, which goes live at 6. Tune in right here on EST. Meanwhile, Sidney Crosby has been named as the captain for Team Canada, with Connor McDavid and Cale Makar serving as Canada's alternates. Plus, fellow Oiler Mattias Ekholm will be the assistant captain for Team Sweden, with Tampa Bay's Victor Hedman leading the charge for the blue and gold. Elsewhere, the Stars have listed Miro Heiskanen as week to week with a lower body injury, which rules him out for Team Finland at the Four Nations face-off. And staying in hockey, Carolina takes on Chicago, having 10 games in the NHL. Meanwhile, offensive lineman Brett Boyko has been released by the Elks, with the 32-year-old starting in 29 games over 2 seasons in Edmonton. And out east, Max Scherzer has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Blue Jays. 5 games in basketball has the Rockies and Grizzlies battling before the Magic meet the Trailblazers. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their showroom offers all the best and latest in flooring, tiles, and area rugs. Find them at the corner of 184th Street and 107th Ave. They're open 7 days a week, and tell them EST sent you for 10% off your next purchase. You can shop in-store or online at ParamountFlooring.ca. We have a quick timeout before the Reid Wilkins Show continues. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus, shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level. Trackman golf simulators are now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit in-store or at thecanadianicehouse.com for details.
Your home for live music and great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
On the patio, there's whiskey in the jar.
March 14th, don't miss the Kings of Celtic. The legendary Irish Rovers play the venue at the River Cree.
Hey boys, sing us a song, one of the old ones and the
Get your tickets at rivercreekresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
North Shore, great band from the early 2000s. Jay Milne, lead vocalist. Which song was that, buddy?
Sellout Queen.
That's a good song.
Yeah, not bad.
If you're texting the River Cree inbox at 780-218-9999, we thank you for getting in touch. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. Check them out. Great place to go. All right, so you got to text your guesses, by the way, for the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. The first two clues, Park and 17. You thought this was a hard one, didn't you, Jay?
Incredibly hard.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. We have a limerick for a Wannock, courtesy of Matt. A man full of knowledge, no conjecture. When he talks, it may feel like a lecture. He's always got heart. Beans and chili make him fart. At least he's loved more than Mark Spector.
Wow.
Well, I won't comment on the last line. It could have tightened up that fourth line a little bit. Just beans make him fart.
You might as well keep it going. I got two Iwanic limericks. We're going to go back to back to back. This comes in from Sobkirk. There once was a champ Iwanic whose CFL smarts are iconic. He runs the Dunya tight, keeps the talk show just right, and his Yankee love quite harmonic.
That's pretty good.
That was really good. This comes in from the poet laureate of the Reid Wilkins show, William Mikespear. It's birthday time for EST's Coup. The Who heads the nasty crew. He takes a lot of flack, but seldom hits back. Favorite shade of red is Man U.
That's kind of clever to get to Man U.
Very, very clever. Wow.
My random pointless trivia question for Steve Johnson in the Nasty Chat. Which number one overall draft pick in the NHL played for the most teams in his career? Rob Ramage. 1979, played for 8 teams, including winning the Cup with the Canadiens in 1993. How about that?
Old Ramage.
You remember him?
I know. Yeah, I remember Rob Ramage.
The Rockies drafted him, right? Bounced around a bit. So that was the answer to that one. All right. Let's continue our afternoon debate for Edmonton Garrison Curling Club. By the way, you want to curl, you want to rent out the Edmonton Garrison Curling Club, email curling@egmgolf.com. Curling@egmgolf.com. Mention EST, and you just might get 10% off ice rentals.
Really?
Not a bad deal. Pretty cool. So, Oilers Red Wings tonight. Klingberg. Klingy. Klinger.
Klingon.
Klings. The Klingon. Be great if he dressed as a Klingon. That was the Vulcans, and I think it was it Split or was it the Pinky Out? No, it was Split. It was Split, yeah. It might have been Mork from Mork had the Pinky Out when he said Nanu Nanu.
Who could forget?
I hope John Klingberg at some point in his life has dressed as a Klingon. That would be appropriate. If he's still with the Oilers next year, I'll mention that to him in training.
The story that writes itself.
No, I would not mention that to him, everybody. Don't worry. So, 7 o'clock game, Oilers and Wings. What are the Wings? Winners of 3 in a row?
Yeah. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10.
Because they hired McClellan, they lost, and then they won, was it 6 or 7 straight? Then they lost a few in a row, and now they're doing good again. As Ken Cowell was talking about, very cluttered in the playoff race in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, so tight.
We'll see if the Wings can...
But that is interesting, how that's going to affect the trade market coming up to the trade deadline.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
If it's anybody's game in the East, who's going to be selling?
Well, because sometimes the team will be 2 or 3 points out and they'll sell because they think even if we get in, we're not going to do much damage. Give us a thumbs up if you're in the Nasty Chat, by the way. Nasty Chat going strong today with all the Bouchard and Klinger discussion. So please give us a thumbs up. No reason we can't get to 150 really by 440, quite frankly, if everybody just gets in there and clicks and encourages other people to click as well. So we're talking about the Oilers quarter century team. We haven't even gotten into the goalies. So Dwayne Rolison on the first team, Tommy Salo, the second team goaltender. So these are players who have played for, because every franchise is doing one, since January 1st, 2000. So quick quiz for Jay. Who's the Oilers' most winningest goaltender in that span? Who do you think it is?
In that span?
Yeah.
How is there a limit on games?
Who's the winningest goaltender since January 1st, 2000? Well, it'd have to be a guy who played a lot of games.
Sure.
It's not my trick question about the save percentage leader that I was asking people earlier.
Dwayne Rolison.
It's Salo.
It is Salo?
Salo, 129. Rolison is fifth with 78. He was actually below 500 as an Oiler, 78, 82, and 24. You know who's second? The only other guy to win over 100 games as an Oiler this century? Goob got it. You can say it, Goob.
Sorry, I love this guy. Cam Talbot.
Cam Talbot, fourth in Vezina voting in 16-17. Skinner, 91. Koskinen, 83. Rolison, 78. Dubnyk, 61. Mike Smith, 56. Those are the 7 goalies who have more than 50 wins as an Oiler this century. Best save percentage out of those 7? Because I think those are the 7 who would be on the list. Like, I wouldn't put Markkanen or Habby Bulin or Conklin or those guys on the list. Best save percentage out of those 7, who do you think it is?
Well, I'd still stick with Rolison.
It's Mike Smith.
Yeah.
913. Talbot was a 912.
I guess I forget about
Dubnyk
Talbot.
was a 910. Talbot was pretty good as an Oiler. I mean, this isn't looking at the rest of his career.
Yep.
Now Rolison went to the Cup final, so you have to include playoff stuff in here. I'm not giving playoff stats. Skinner also went to a Cup final.
And Skinner had a better save percentage than Tommy Salo.
908 to 905.
Yeah. Albeit close, but Skinner's gone to the Stanley Cup
final. They're all
final.
close. All those top 7 are between 905 and 913. Man, oh man. I would put Salo up there. I might have Talbot as my other goaltender. And that's no disrespect to Rolison.
Yeah.
But Rolison is best remembered for an incredible burst. And I suppose you can say, well, same thing with Talbot, Reid, but he did it for a season. And Rolison has the mystique of getting them to the Stanley Cup final. Well, I think Talbot has the mystique of helping them end the playoff drought.
Yeah, I think Talbot is underrated for sure.
And Skinner's already in the process of, well, if they do this for a third century team in 2033, it'll probably be Skinner, the runaway number 1 by then.
The third century?
If they do like 1/3 of the century. Like this is a 1/4 century.
Of course they will. Yeah. It's not enough to do it a quarter. Let's go the 8ths.
Yeah.
We're the best 8th quarter.
Yeah. They'll do
century.
Do it every 12 and a half years.
Golly.
Or whatever it would be. All right. So Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, Nurse, Rolison, the first team, Hemsky, Horkoff, Smith, Ekholm, Jason. So Ryan Smith and Jason Smith and Tommy Salo. But this is the fun part about picking it. And there's a lot of, I guess there's nobody on there though that I would say, wow, that's an out to lunch pick. What about Klefbom?
Yeah.
Didn't play enough?
Well, and just the way it all ended was, it is what it is, but it just, would that tarnish his legacy?
No, it was just hope that he would have played longer. Klefbom still played 378 games at 156 points. He was a very good defenseman. Oh, here's a fun one. You know who had more points per game as an Oiler than Evan Bouchard? Tyson Barrie. Though Bouch will probably overtake that fairly quickly. All right. Let's do Should we do another limerick from the Big Uke?
Sure.
Some years ago, a persnickety boy was born. Years later, over dunks, Reid he would scorn. 100th show, many more to go. Happy birthday, Maddie. Do you want a party horn? Oh, there's another one. Big Uke did too. Born on this day some time ago, Maddie was born. His rents faces did glow. Get 100 more. Will Bouch score? For the coup today, we have a party to throw. Wow, pretty good.
And how fitting he just left.
Did he just leave?
Yeah.
He's gone to his birthday party. So what did you get him for his birthday?
Beef jerky.
And did you plan this ahead of time or get it on the way to the station this morning?
I may have stopped for a few things. Actually, I'll pull them out now if we've got time.
Because I didn't know it was his birthday until I heard them talking about it. Was it at the end of Dustin's show?
Well, I wanted to celebrate our 100th show because, as you alluded, this is very meaningful for me.
It is.
It means absolutely nothing to you.
Well, it means something to me that it means something to you, I guess.
So I got us a decorative, now we're having a party.
If you're on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, on the audio stream, Jay has put something on the desk that appears to be festive.
Yeah, it's
has done little to warm my cold heart.
Yeah, it's a little like I think it's like a helium balloon holder weight, but it looks partyish.
Okay.
What's a party without hats? Right? So
oh my God, are we actually wearing these?
Yeah.
Well, I dropped mine as usual.
Put it on. Coob.
Okay. That's great.
Obviously, you're a big part of the show.
Thank you.
We got party hats.
It looks like I'm wearing a dunce cap. A lot of people will think that's fitting.
Well, the shoe fits, Reid. Okay, so we have hats. Okay, what else? What's a party without blowouts?
I'm not touching those.
Yeah, you are. There you go.
What is this?
Yeah. There you go, Coop.
Okay, I'm done with that.
Okay, what's a party without treats? Treats. So I got us Twizzlers.
Oh, Twizzlers is a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the nibs, the nib licorice better, Jay.
Jesus.
I'm the persnickety one now. Who's the persnickety one now?
We have sweet, but I know you and I both enjoy salty as well. So I got us Butter Lovers microwave popcorn too.
I'm not eating that during the show.
No, I didn't say we would.
Okay, good. I'll have a licorice now, though.
Yeah, you can open it up
during the commercial.
So that's my gift.
You don't like the nib licorice, eh?
I do. I prefer them as well, but I just happened to see Twizzlers and grabbed them.
That's our 100th show party. We will not be doing this for the 200th show.
Yeah, we will.
No, we won't. Who's counting? Who's counting besides Rob from the Grove?
There's one thing I can assure you, Mr. Reid, is there will be a celebration every 100 shows.
All right.
Why don't you like celebrating?
Well, I do like celebrating. I'm just not sure. I feel this is not a milestone in my career. Having said that, I'm kind of deflecting talking about it too much because Dustin Nielson is... I've said too much already. I'll let Dustin handle it because there is going to be an announcement concerning this.
Should I keep the hat on?
There's going to be an announcement concerning this show when Dustin is on. And that's why I'm deflecting talking about it, because I don't want you to start reading into that.
Well, I saw you guys talking in the office earlier.
Yeah, we talked.
All right.
We talked.
Well, I'm keeping my... I don't care.
But he didn't want me to say too much to you, and now I've said too much to you.
You can't take this away from me. I've earned this. I can celebrate it however I please. Whatever happens when Dustin comes on at 5 o'clock happens. I'm just happy to be here, Reid.
Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level of ultra cool. TrackMan golf simulators now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit thecanadianicehouse.com. John Klingberg debuts tonight for the Oilers against the Detroit Red Wings. It's a 7 o'clock game. We are with you until 6, and then we'll hand it over to Tom and Hernan for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. We're going to help Jay with his homework as we move along as well. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
John Klingberg makes his Oilers debut while Kasperi Kapanen sits out due to illness when Edmonton takes on Detroit. You can get set for the action right here on EST when Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6. And the Four Nations captains have been announced. Sidney Crosby will lead Team Canada with Connor McDavid and Cale Makar as the alternates, with fellow Oiler Mattias Ekholm serving as Sweden's alternate captain. Victor Hedman will lead the Swedes, while Alexander Barkov takes the C for Finland, and Austin Matthews sports the C for the Americans. 9 other games dot the NHL slate, including the Jets against the Bruins. The Wild challenge the Canadiens, and LA is on the road in Tampa Bay. In the CFL, the Elks have released Brett Boyko after he spent the past 2 years with the club, playing in 29 games for the Green and Gold, while in Toronto, Max Scherzer and the Jays have agreed to a 1-year deal. On the court, the Timberwolves battle the Jazz, having 5 games around the association. This sports update is brought to you by Sit and Sleep. Transform your home at a fraction of the cost during Sit and Sleep's winter clearance event. For massive discounts on major sleep brands to unbeatable deals on Canadian-made custom furniture, Sit and Sleep's winter clearance event is a can't miss. Plus, enjoy free local white glove delivery and special financing offers to help you bring home the best. Visit Sit and Sleep today in South Edmonton Common, next to Planet Fitness. We have a quick timeout before we come back with more of the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
This sounds like, I know it's not, but I don't think it is. This sounds like Muse. Doesn't that remind you of a Muse song? Who is that, Coob? Is that just the generic YouTube music that you play? Do you just search generic? This sounds like Muse. Reminds me of Muse. You know the band Muse?
Yeah, it sounds
Muse-esque.
What's the song it sounds like, though?
What was their big one? Uprising.
Yeah.
Was that the one? I think Uprising was the one. But they kind of have that. That's their sound anyway. That sort of driving sound, yet sort of melodic at the same time.
Yeah, Uprising. That's the one for sure. It sounds like
it's a sound-alike.
It's a sound-alike.
But it's not the actual song.
Do you want to divulge how many Twizzlers we
Well, I had 2. That's probably all. I'll probably have one more.
I think you'll have more. I
won't
don't see
have
this
too many
going
more.
away. Why wouldn't you eat popcorn on the show?
Just too inconvenient. And I don't like eating while I'm on air. But I'm irritated that there's no water today.
There is a tap.
Yes, but I don't even have anything to drink it out of.
There's plenty of cups. Beer of the week cups.
Oh, are there?
You know what,
Oh,
Reid?
okay.
Here's what I'll do for you as my gift to you for show number 100. I will go get you a fresh cup of cold water.
Oh, I'll get it at next break. We'll just have a little bit. Thanks for offering, though.
I would.
I'm really fine. I can go and do it. If you're watching the show on YouTube, we thank you. Click the thumbs up there. Let's. I don't know. People aren't clicking today. Give it a click. We got to get to word of the day territory, at least 130. And given the audience, we should be able to get there quite easily. You can also consume the show on the iHeart Radio app or on the TuneIn Radio app, or just by going to edmontonsportstalk.com. And maybe you're thinking, Reid, I'm listening to the show. Why are you telling me how to listen to the show? I'm reminding you about all the ways you can do it, and I'm asking you to tell other people. Bring more nasties into the community. Bring more listeners along. We're still growing the station. We're not even a year and a half old. And we're still trying to get the word out about Edmonton Sports Talk. And also remember the podcast element to this. So we have the live streaming audio. We have the audio and the video. And we also have the podcast element. If you miss it live, get it a little bit later. Wherever you get your podcast, just sign up for the Reid Wilkins Show or the Nielson Show or the Hangout or the Oil Stream or EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager.
Big hit.
Yeah. Build it, baby. Keep on building it.
Well, it helps. Every bit helps.
Do we have a winner in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game?
No.
Okay. Are we getting any guesses even?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not even in the same solar system.
Interesting. Okay. And remember, maximum 3 guesses per phone number. Jay does keep track.
Clue number 1 was?
Park.
Clue number 2 was?
17.
Clue number 3?
Clue number 3 is Halls of Fame. Halls of Fame.
And that is halls on purpose.
Yes, plural on purpose. Halls of Fame.
You are pluralizing that.
Halls of Fame is the third clue.
Kind of like the Wasatch.
So that's not going to be the team anymore, right? So what happened here, Coop? What can you tell us what happened? Sorry if you've been doing it in all your updates, but let's just get into it here.
No, from my understanding, it's that the Utah Hockey Club, at their games, they wanted to involve the fans to get a fan vote and engagement on their possible logo and the possible change of name to their permanent name from Hockey Club. And the consensus was the 3 finalists that they had, one of them wasn't good enough, didn't make the cut. So the Wasatch or the Wasatch or whatever it is out and Outlaws are in. So the 3 finalists now are redone as Outlaws, Mammoth, and Hockey Club. Because
so they
Wasatch
changed the
wasn't good
finalists.
enough. They did, yeah. From fan response.
Well, I thought that's what this whole process was.
So why did you have finalists?
Yeah, I know, that's
when
the
you had a
funniest
crappy finalist? Shouldn't have you done? I get it. It's fun and it's good for them for adjusting on the fly. But it's kind of funny, like okay, because remember at first they put out 20 or 16 names.
Yes,
and we're gonna keep paring it down. We're gonna keep paring. Okay, we got our final 3, everybody. Oh wait, that one sucks. Sorry. Here's a new one. So Outlaws. So now it's Outlaws, Hockey Club, and
Mammoth.
Mammoth is still in there.
Outlaws.
They could have some fun with Outlaws too, logos and stuff.
How is that relevant? I mean,
it's the Wild West, baby.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think Mammoth is much more.
You ever seen a Mormon cowboy? They're all cowboys.
Studs. Outlaws. I don't really know that Utah and Outlaw are exactly really good partners.
You know what they should have done? Because remember how I was saying, because I think at some points somebody mentioned the Utah Buzz. And I was like, that's cool. They'd have the Jazz and the Buzz. So, but the Jazz, as we were talking about yesterday, was it you that wasn't sure about that, or somebody didn't know that? The reason they're the Utah Jazz is because they were to the New Orleans Jazz.
That's right.
Which is a highly appropriate team name.
Yes.
And then they moved and they didn't change the team name. And everybody jokes, well, you don't really associate Salt Lake City with jazz. Why didn't they name the hockey team the Utah Rock and Roll? They'd have the jazz and they'd have rock and roll. Two genres of music that you don't associate with Utah. Or just the Utah Rock.
Utah Rock would be good. That would actually make sense.
Because it would apply to the mountains as well. And it would be,
there's
and
like
it would
the
be
Red
another,
Rocks there.
And another tongue-in-cheek joke about a musical genre that is not associated with the city.
Hey, there's Christian rock, man. Sure, there's Mormon rock.
Yeah, of course there is.
Of course. Well, there's so many big acts that are actually, we talked about this a while ago, but that were Mormon or are Mormon.
Well, the lead singer of Neon Trees is or was Mormon. Right?
No, what's that one? Tommy's band. What's Tommy's favorite band?
The Killers.
The Killers.
Oh, Killer. Are they Mormon though?
Yes.
I thought they were from Vegas.
They are, but that you can be Mormon.
Oh, okay. Well, sure.
Yeah. But there's another one. What's that song? You make me a believer.
Oh, Imagine Dragons?
Yeah.
Or are they from there?
I think he's Mormon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Brian Medwood in the Nasty Chat. I was today years old when I realized I could listen to you on iHeartRadio when I drive. That's a big change for me. Thank you. Brian, we thank you. That is it.
Well, that's
so easy.
That's what I do.
Me too.
So after the show, I'll drive to the rink and I'll listen on iHeartRadio to Tommy and Hernan until I get to the rink. And then after the game, I go down into the dressing room. I walk to my car. As I'm driving home, I'm listening. And then I get home and I hop on the show.
And all I do is open the app. I don't even touch anything.
Yeah,
and it goes to Edmonton Sports Talk and starts playing.
Yeah, it'll. And even if you do have to go on your phone, it's the same thing as reaching up to your radio interface on your TV, except you go down to your phone.
Are you trying to make this way simpler than it is, Reid?
It's incredibly simple, which is what I'm trying to say. It's just a barrier for people, and I get it to some extent. Yeah. It's just like when articles first started getting published online. And it's like, well, you can read it in the newspaper tomorrow morning, or you can read it online at 8 p.m. right now. That was a barrier for people to get you. And now there aren't there are newspapers, but it's different. Now a lot of audio is streaming. You don't need to have an AM radio or an FM radio or even a traditional car radio. So we're just trying to educate people. Give us a thumbs up, by the way. Continue to do that and chat with us and with each other in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. We are so close to 1:30. Someone do it now and get us there. Oilers and Red Wings tonight, 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. Game 5 of the Oilers' 6-game homestand. They have won the last 3 after dropping the first game to the Washington Capitals. Okay, we did kind of an unconventional top 3 yesterday, and we're going to do another one today, presented by Food Sausage, the best sausages you will ever eat, locally made, packed full of flavor. Order online or visit them in-store at 6736 99th Street. Take advantage of their EST discount. 10% off your order by entering the online code EST or mention EST in-store. As Food Sausage says, you can't beat our meat. So you're helping Jay with his homework assignment. Oh, Coop, can you email Dusty the link for 5 o'clock to his Gmail? Okay. You can say what you want because this is really more for you.
Yeah, handsome athletes. Yesterday we went over the balds. We did a few of the mustache, but I need some athletes. I mean, there's a lot here, and each draftee gets to or has to pick 5.
Oh,
so I mean, I should technically have a list of 20, to make sure I have enough to get through. Obvious ones, are there, but help me out. Help me send in the top most handsome athletes, and look at that.
So we were doing actors and bald people yesterday.
We did.
We got a pretty good list of
balds.
actors that we even talked about more in the bullpen today.
I like calling them balds.
Chris Hemsworth, bald. Hey, baldy.
Hey, balds.
It appears you do not have any hair, McLean. Perhaps you have pulled it out with worry about my kidnapping of your wife, McLean.
Little Hans Gruber. So
good.
Handsome athletes. Well, Tom Brady's considered handsome, right? Travis Kelce?
Both would be on the list. Yeah.
Okay.
They'd have to be. Like Cristiano Ronaldo. Somebody said David Beckham. I don't know that David Beckham is handsome.
Jasmine was in the Nasty Chat. Hopefully she helps out here. Okay, Mex Bezozu. There's the athlete I mentioned yesterday.
Yeah, he's on the list. Absolutely. Rick
Fox, Canadian, who played for the Lakers.
Stud.
Didn't he do some modeling work at some point, or was in commercials?
I think he was in like a soap or something, wasn't he?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think he might have gone into acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's handsome.
He'd be a good... No, but here's the thing. The other guys who are in the draft are listening to this, aren't they?
I don't care.
It's Tom, you, Dustin Nielson, and Lieutenant Eric? So you don't care about giving them ideas?
Well, no. Jasmine, he's on my list. Jimmy G. Oh, I didn't have Adam Scott. That's a great pick. He is
golfer
handsome.
You know what? When he won the Masters...
Heartthrob.
And it was raining. It was raining lightly, and he's got a white T-shirt on, and there was that picture of him holding his putter up, with his arms sort of bent, so his shirt was up his arm, so his biceps were out, and his shirt was just wet enough. It was somewhat see-through, and I was looking on my phone at this article, and I was hanging out with a female friend. She's like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Adam Scott. He won the Masters." And she's like, "I don't care what he won. I just want to look at that picture." Adam Scott's a good one.
Okay, Bronco Nick coming in hot here. That's good. Federer. That's a good one. He's handsome.
Oh, Coyote Steve says Lemieux and Luongo. I think certainly Luongo would be up there. Adam Oates, is he still on? Would he still be considered? Surrey.
I don't get your Adam Oates love here. You told me about him yesterday, and I thought you were joking.
I think
he's got really distinguished
when he was
features.
younger. I think when he was younger, maybe he would be considered a little more handsome.
Like Luongo, really?
Well, okay, don't draft him.
I'm
just saying Coyote Steve made some suggestions, which we appreciate.
Hey, he's on my list.
You're Coyote Steve.
Yeah, Coyote Steve.
He's got I heard he's got a coyote tracking me.
Hernan from the bullpen.
Hey, he's our buddy.
Lewis Hamilton. I like that.
Can you draft Hernan in anything?
Yeah, media. Local media.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Got lots coming in here.
There'll be a lot coming in.
Yeah, a few of you have said one that I'm not going to disclose because I'm holding it very close to the vest. I'd like to get it up early.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
We talked about him earlier.
Is he a football player?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it isn't. Okay, I don't know who you're talking about then. You can tell me during the break.
Mm-hmm. Who's Felix Hernandez?
He's a pitcher, is he not?
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember what he looks like, though.
Maybe that was a guess for the...
Jeter? A-Rod? I mean, are you drafting them when they're in their prime? Yeah, because Steve Coyote's going to get picked. Or Coyote's going to get picked. Tommy will get picked.
Yeah, like Joe Burrow, like Jimmy G.
Cogliano, if we're talking former Oilers. Stu Skinner?
Well, that could be for another... Yeah.
Oh, Mike, the Michigan fan, has another good one in there.
That's a great one.
Henrik Stenson, golfer. Yeah. Charlie, see you. Enjoy the game.
Felix was a guess.
Oh, he was guessing the mystery.
Carmelo Anthony. No, don't say that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
We mentioned him on air yesterday, though.
Oh, did we?
I think we mentioned him on air yesterday.
Henrik Lundqvist has got to be the most handsome person in the world.
Yeah. So a colleague of mine had a picture of him and Henrik Lundqvist as his wallpaper on his phone. And I was like, what is the story with this picture? And he said, I was at the Pint the day before the Rangers were playing the Oilers. He's sitting at a table by himself having a beer. And I just went up and talked to him and said, can I have a picture? And Lundqvist was like, yeah. So I guess
crazy.
He just decided to go out, chill out, and have a beer. And
what about Brooks Koepka?
I don't consider him handsome, but what do I know?
Well, you know a lot.
Yeah, I think Adam Scott would have to be up there.
I think Adam Scott's that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
So what about Oilers? I mean, we're gonna have Draisaitl.
Well, Surrey, Draisaitl, Stu Skinner. Who else in the past? Trying to remember. Or who else on the current team? Henrique, maybe. I know some people like Henrique's looks.
Chauncey says Mike Modano.
Oh, Clefbaum.
Clef bomb.
Clef bomb would be another order that'd be on there.
You're my clef bomb.
Jasmine also says there's a bit of a snowstorm outside, so be careful. Cody CC?
Evander Kane.
From Rowe. Kane, yeah. Some people consider Kane handsome.
How about this one? D-Rex says, my wife always says my favorite player, Willie Pless, is very handsome. Willie Pless
interesting.
was a
Yeah, we're not even
striking
thinking
man.
about. Well, I mentioned Riley yesterday.
Yeah.
I think with football players, like you don't see the faces. Like at least hockey players, you see the faces. And then when a football player is interviewed, like the eye blacks running down their face and they're cut up. You know what I mean?
What was this here?
Is Trey Ford handsome?
Very.
Maybe you take Ford and Riley, you corner the quarterbacks.
Jeff in YYZ says, hey, Reid and Jay, congrats on your 100th show on EST. I have listened to almost all of your shows and really appreciate the great content, laughs, limericks, and linguistics.
Oh, perfect. We appreciate that. Well, we're going to go much higher than 100, but this might be a significant show for Jay Milne in a way he has yet to fully understand. And I think Dustin Nielson will reveal that at some point during the upcoming segment. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Wake up with the Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems. But did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Kasperi Kapanen sits out with illness while John Klingberg suits up in his first game for Edmonton when the Oilers play the Red Wings. You can catch Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they go live on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show to preview the action live at 6 o'clock right here on EST. And the Four Nations Leadership Group have been unveiled with Sidney Crosby sporting the C for Team Canada, having Connor McDavid and Cale Makar serve as the alternates. And 5 games get underway in just a moment with the Jets facing the Bruins, Blackhawks challenging the Hurricanes, seeing Sebastian Aho out due to illness for the Canes, and the Caps go head-to-head against the Sens, while Marc-Andre Fleury makes a start for the Wild when they face the Canadiens. For the Elks, they've released offensive lineman Brett Boyko after he suited up in 29 games over the past 2 seasons for the Green and Gold. In baseball, the Jays and Max Scherzer have agreed to a 1-year deal, and 5 games dot the NBA slate, including Atlanta visiting Cleveland and the Lakers meeting the Wizards. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right, thanks a lot for tuning in this afternoon. Before we get to Dustin Nielson, we will have the fourth clue in our Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. So you're trying to win a $25 GC to Hudson's Canada's Pub. You must text your guess to the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. And the fourth clue is hyphen. So the clues are Park, 17, Halls of Fame, and hyphen. Okay? Park, 17, Halls of Fame, hyphen. If we need the fifth clue, we'll give it out probably between 5:20 and 5:40 and try to get a winner before 6. So we got to get a winner before 6. So we'll see. We'll see. Our owner and leader and CEO and morning show host from the Nielson Show, Dustin Nielson, is checking in. From where? Where are you today, buddy?
I'm at Castle Downs Arena right now, buddy.
And what can you?
We're at power skating.
Oh, you're taking power skating, or someone you know is taking power skating?
Yeah. I gotta hop in the room and get ready right away. I could probably still use power skating lessons. I'm not gonna lie, but if times are well. So my daughter's on the ice right now, and then my son's in the room getting ready, and he goes out right after her. So I'll be here. I'm usually Thursday nights. I'm at this rink for like 3 hours.
Now, which child is there? Does one of your children enjoy this more or embrace this more than the other?
Elizabeth. I mean, she's 7. She definitely loves coming here. She's like a sponge. She loves eating it up. And Marshall just doesn't like power skating. Like, he loves hockey, but he doesn't like power skating.
He just wants to play the actual game. Yeah,
like she has a smile on her face the entire time, and he's looking at me being like, "Oh, like it's so hard." So, that's a good question because kids are always different. And she actually loves this stuff, but he's not a huge fan.
So do you try to tell him, and I'm not a parent, so I'm genuinely curious as to how you would approach this. Like, my logical mind thinks, okay, tell your child, yes, I know you like the game of hockey, but doing all these things that aren't hockey will help you excel at hockey. Or is that a hard sell when they're that age?
I've tried to explain it to him. I said, listen, the most important thing about being a hockey player is being able to skate. Now, he's naturally going to be a little bit slower than the other kids because he's a giant. Like, he's almost 5'2", and he's 9. So, like, it's going to come with him a little bit more for sure. But, like, Elizabeth, they both get it. I said, look, if you can skate better, you can play better defense, you can score more goals. It's pretty critical. So I think they understand that. He just doesn't like power skating. Like, it's just not his thing.
All right. Well, thanks for checking in as you're doing this. I know, and I'm sorry, Dustin, I couldn't, and I know you're going to do it more into the end of the segment. I couldn't keep it totally under wraps that something is. Okay, I won't say anything else. We'll do the Oilers talk first because I feel like I'm ruining it already, and I don't want to get you mad at me.
Just fire me and get on with it.
No. Okay. Anyway, it's I don't even know if I was supposed to know, but anyway, we got buying or selling for Damon Bunting. He's a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com. That's online. Or if you go on Instagram, it's Damon Bunting Real Estate. All right, so here's my buying or selling. And I had this for Jay earlier, and I said don't answer now. Buying or selling. The Oilers' penalty kill is more important to their success than their power play.
Good question. This is why you've lasted 100 shows right here. I mean, yeah, it probably is. I mean, if their penalty kill goes in the tank come playoff time, like hopefully not as bad as it was at the beginning of the year. I like their ability to probably score 5-on-5 with McDavid and Draisaitl in some tough spots anyway. So, I mean, I would like to look back at all the Stanley Cup winners over the last 10, 15 years and just see what type of penalty kill they ended up with in the playoffs compared to their power play. But for this team specifically, I mean, I think I'm probably buying that the penalty kill success is going to be more important than the power play down the stretch and in the playoffs.
Well, I agree because it's got more room for improvement, too. I mean, it started out so bad that now, and you look, Reid, we looked on the show just earlier in the week on how important this is and how much better this penalty kill has been. The power play is going to be there. That's not what's been questioned. I think what needs to be consistent is the PK. So that's why I think it is the most important part of their game for sure.
Yeah,
well, and that's why you go get a guy like Klingberg, right?
Right. Yeah. Block shots and kill penalties. He's not replacing Stetcher. He's finally a replacement for Desharnais. Yeah. I feel like when I say something I feel like when I say something like that to Oilers fans, I have to say I'm joking because I'm like, what are you talking about? All right. Okay, I know you're buying that Bouchard scores a power play goal tonight, but tell us why you got that gut feeling today.
Well, it's this thing I like to do when I'm betting on sports where I say he's due. Like, he has to. So, I mean, how long can a guy go who we thought was going to bury, like, 20, 25 goals this year and probably 6, 7, 8, or 9 on the power play? Detroit's penalty kill is no good. I mean, if it's not going to happen tonight, it's probably never going to happen. And maybe it's not even like a beautiful rocket from the point. Maybe he just flips a puck down and it bounces off a defenseman and goes in, and maybe that gets him going on the power play. But I would have never thought, like, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that we'd be sitting here in the final 2 days, like this is the final game of January, that he still wouldn't have a power play goal. Like, if one of us had that as a prediction at the beginning of the season, people would have said we were bloody insane. You know, it's crazy.
Plus
that it
10,000 to 1.
So.
Yeah. It would never happen.
Yeah, like I could have retired if I would have been able to bet that he wouldn't score in this many games. So on the power play at least. So it's got to have to happen at some point. Why not tonight?
Dusty, I just want to let you know that I'm riding. I'm riding on that bet.
Yeah, good.
I think it's due. And what better night when nobody would think it's happening? Because, Klingberg's going to take away the spotlight from Bouchard.
But you know what will happen, Jay, is people will say, well, he only scored because he's feeling the heat from Klingberg.
Right.
Which would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
Oh, there's always a reason for goals, yes, especially when they haven't come all season.
I'm trying to... Did you look up Bouchard's last power play goal? I'm trying to get it.
He must have had a couple in
April 6th.
In the playoffs.
His last power play goal was April 6th against Calgary. In Calgary in a 3-2 loss.
So he didn't even score a power play goal in the playoffs last
No,
year?
he did. I'm sorry, Dustin. This is I just did his regular season scoring
regular
logs.
season. Okay, all right. I was like, what? He had such a good playoff last year. I was like, there's no way he didn't bury one there. So yeah, you got to go back to the end of last season.
Hey, Dusty, while Reid's looking that up, who did you think, you saw the quarter century teams that were released by the NHL and the Oilers, and who was a glaring omission from you on either the first or second team for the Oilers?
Yeah, I like Chris Pronger. We talked about it on two guys today. Like, depending on, like, if you can put Matthias Ekholm on there for 2.5 years, how can you not put Chris Pronger on there for a year, right? Like, it just, and I like Ekholm. But, I mean, 2.5 years of Ekholm.
No, Ekholm's only 1.5, buddy. Don't forget. Ekholm's like 2 years until March, right?
No, this is part of his third season with the team. Yeah, so he's like 2 years now, right? Like in March, he'll be 2 full years.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Right?
Well, you're going by chunks of seasons. Okay, sorry.
I'm going like by chunks of seasons. So like he's 2.5 at the end of this year. He'll be 2.5 seasons kind of here. I just don't know how you can look past that to keep Chris Pronger off the list. I mean, it's like people. I almost thought like people who were voting on it still have a grudge against him, so they didn't want to put him on it. But he's got to be on that list. I mean, when you talk about the Oilers the last 25 years, what do you talk about? You talk about the Stanley Cup playoff run last year. You talk about McDavid and Draisaitl's excellence. You talk about Ryan Kessler holding the pad open in the playoffs, and you talk about the 06 run. And I mean, that doesn't happen without Chris Pronger. So for me, that guy had to be. And if he's on the list, he's going to be on the first team, and then you bump Nurse or Bouchard down to the other team.
Evan Bouchard had 1 power play goal in the playoffs last year. It was Game 4 at Los Angeles. Was that not the 1-0 game? That was the 1-0 game.
Did he have the only goal?
He had the only goal. Yeah.
So he only scores big ones, Reid.
Yeah.
He only scores big ones.
So he'll get a huge one tonight. All right. Yeah. So if people are on the YouTube stream, and by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for participating in the Nasty Chat. and click that thumbs up. We're so close to 150, and if everybody just did it, we're there, and we're in double word of the day category. But if you're watching, and if you go back and watch later, we have party hats on. Jay is quite excited. Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to celebrate a freaking milestone around here, and Reid's acting like, there's nothing. This is nothing for him. He's been doing this for 17 years.
Well, but anyway, it is show 100, and I've kind of been downplaying it because I didn't want to take the spotlight away from what Dustin is about to say.
Yeah, first of all, I like that popcorn in the middle of the desk there. That's a nice little...
That was part of the party favors.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. I think that's great. Well, first of all, congratulations, boys, on 100 shows. I will say this. It's been way better than I expected already. Just to be honest with you, you guys are doing a great job. I love your show. I've become a fan. Jay, your probation was set up to be a little bit longer than Reid's, and I'm contemplating extending it another 6 months. But I think you've done a good enough job that you're officially off probation. And now, if I decide to fire you, we're going to have to negotiate.
Yes,
so,
let's go.
Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations, buddy.
Jay had a 6 months probation. It is ending after 5 months. It was supposed to be over March 1st. It's ending January 30th. How about that, Jay? Live on the air.
Skipping ahead, buddy.
Just wait till you see how different I am now. Now I'm going to start swearing on air. This is going to be so great.
Oh, hey, don't hesitate. I mean, I will fire you. So they'll get carried away. But, let's speed this process up a little bit. So, yes, probation removed. You've been a great, as I heard, I was driving and listening today. You've been a great sidekick for Reid Wilkins. So
yes, I try to keep him in line as best I can. Dusty, thank you for that.
Yeah. Somebody has to. Jeez.
This is going to mean so much to my family. We've been sweating it out. My wife can now sleep in the same bed as me again. So this means a lot to me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, congratulations, Jay.
Good.
Yeah, Dusty leaked that to me earlier, and I had trouble totally not saying anything about it, but we more or less kept it under wraps. All right, you're probably going to go tie some skates or wipe some noses, Dusty.
Actually, I am going to go tie skates right now. That's exactly where I'm going. So, yeah, all right, boys. Have a good show, and, keep up the good work.
Right on. That's our boss, the owner of EST, host of the Nielson Show from 6 to 9 a.m. every morning. Well, then he's also on, what is he on, the Lock Shop? Or then he's on the Oil Stream, or then he's on Two Guys and a Goalie.
He does quite a bit.
Yeah, I joked with him yesterday in the chat because I watched a bit of that poker tournament. I found it hard to watch a lot because poker's not totally my thing. But I said Dustin never sleeps and is on air or on a stream 19 hours a day. Not far off. He's probably awake 19 or 20 hours a day.
One of the hardest working. Definitely one of the hardest working people I've ever been around. And in this business, you have to be going when everything's on. I mean, he's on the morning show at 6 a.m. I know he's up at 4 most days, but do you think he's going to bed before that game ends tonight? No. I mean, it's a long day, and he does it well. He does it and takes care of his family. I really respect how much of a family man he is. You know how much my family means to me, so I hold that in high regard. And now I hold it in higher regard. Because the training wheels are off, buddy.
You're off probation. Congratulations.
Wow. I did not see that happening.
Well, after 6 months, but you basically got it after 5. That's your probation was truncated. I wonder if that's going to be the word of the day.
Oh, not anymore.
We are hanging on the cliff of 150 thumbs. So let's get there. So I get 2 words of the day from Jay a little bit later on, and congratulations to Jay Milne for his probation ending live on air today on the 100th edition of the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. If you want to text Jay your congratulations, you're using the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Comedian Ben Bankus coming to the River Cree. Is that tomorrow, Coop? I think it's tomorrow. There's only 2 days left in January. For details on tickets, visit rivercreeresort.com. I better double check because it's either tonight or tomorrow, and I checked this earlier. Ben Bankus is at River Cree. Oh, it's today. Well, if you want to go, you better get your tickets if they're not sold out. A quick final reminder for you to get your tickets. Do you want me to do clue number 5 now or after the break?
Now.
All right. So nobody has gotten it.
No. And I mean this. This is the most confused that everybody's been. Yes.
So has anybody been in the right sport? Because the fifth clue is the sport.
Hang on.
Does somebody get it?
No. No. Big Uke said off probation before the Super Bowl party. Huh. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. You must text your guesses to the River Korean Box 780-218-9999. The fifth and final clue, well, I might have to have more clues. The fifth clue is golf. So the clues are Park, 17, Halls of Fame, hyphen, and golf. Okay? So those are the clues. Hopefully you can piece it together now.
I hope.
Park, 17, Halls of Fame, hyphen, and golf.
Now, I'm going to clap, but it's not because somebody got it. It's because we got over 150. To double the word of the day.
Double the word of the day.
Let's go.
Well, if we have time, we might have to keep giving out clues. We're in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown, personal injury law firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Their website, jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. And we will have our game of the night. Talk a little bit more about the Oilers and the Wings, and hopefully we get a winner in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. Here comes the Coupe.
John Klingberg slots in for the Oilers in his Oilers debut, while Kasperi Kapanen is ruled out due to illness against the Red Wings, with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas teeing up the action during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6. Tune in right here on EST. Meanwhile, Sidney Crosby has been named as the captain for Team Canada at the Four Nations, with Connor McDavid and Cale Makar serving as the alternates. Plus, fellow Oiler Matthias Ekholm will be the assistant captain for the Swedes, with Tampa Bay's Victor Hedman leading the charge for the blue and gold. And 5 games are live right now in the NHL, including the Lightning up 1-0 on the Kings, the Bruins trailing the Jets 1-0, while the Caps and Sens are scoreless in the Wild, and Canadians are tied at zeros. Seeing all of those games early in the first. Meanwhile, offensive lineman Brett Boyko has been released by the Elks, with the 32-year-old starting in 29 games over 2 seasons in Edmonton. And out east, Max Scherzer has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Blue Jays. On the court right now, the Cavs are up 27-21 on the Hawks, and the Lakers are down 13-11 to the Wizards, just about halfway in the first frame for both of those games. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. And whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Find them online at AdvantageSportMed.ca. We have a quick timeout before the Reid Wilkins Show rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielson and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielson Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Hockey lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for 2 at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Your home for live music and great performances is
The River Cree Resort and Casino.
On the patio, there's whiskey in the jar.
March 14th. Don't miss the Kings of Celtic. The legendary Irish Rovers play the venue at the River Cree.
Hey boys, sing us a song. One of the old ones and we sing along.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
John Klingberg is in for your Edmonton Oilers. Number 36, John Klingberg. Oilers and Wings at 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. Second and final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. The Oilers won 4-3 in overtime on a Draisaitl goal on October 27th. Remember that great pass from Ekholm down the left wing to get it in front of Draisaitl? Oilers are 32-15-3, 18-8-1 at home after kind of a poor start on home ice. The Wings are 24-21-5, 9-10-3 on the road, but 11-4-1 overall since Todd McLellan took over as their head coach. Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. NHL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankers of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details, CanadianBrewhouse.com. Okay. Are we getting any ballpark guesses?
Yes. Can I say something?
Yeah, but I think we have to at this point. There's only a half hour left in the show.
So people are in definitely in the right sport.
Well, I gave golf as the last clue.
Well, but they're not thinking close enough.
Yeah, they're not thinking close enough. They're not thinking about the first clue park, perhaps, and how close we all might be to that park. Is that more confusing or more clear? I think it makes it more clear.
That would be. I said this to you when you were going through this. That's going to be a real tough one to really narrow into.
I think I can give. a 6th clue. Should I do it now? Probably should do it now, because this one's tough.
Yes.
All right. So here are the 5 clues so far. To recap them, and we may have some people just tuning in on the drive home, or maybe they missed some of the clues. Park, 17, Halls of Fame, hyphen, golf, and then as the 6th clue,
we're in bonus territory.
Highlands.
Okay.
And you have to remember, this is the mystery athlete of the game. It's not the mystery hockey player of the game. It's not the Oiler of the game. It's not the male athlete of the game. It's the mystery athlete of the game.
Very good. Reid, I would just like to say thank you to everybody who has been sending me in the love. I'm feeling it. I feel good. I appreciate your kind words. Andrea from Calgary said, just stop driving so I can finally text. Congratulations, Jay. I was hoping that was the announcement because you deserve it. And she spent the last 15 minutes leading up to it explaining to her 8-year-old son or 8-year-old what job probation is.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Well done. I appreciate you all. You're the best.
Should we start game of the night, or do you feel like a winner is imminent?
Reid, at this point, I really don't. I still don't.
Well, I'm not giving a 7th clue yet.
Okay.
Because
do you have one?
I'll come up with one.
Okay.
Well, No, I'll wait a little bit. Like, I think my next one won't be, it'll be a clue, but I'll just give a sentence. Because generally the clues are 1 or 2 words long, right?
Yes.
Halls of Fame is multiple words, but it's, one phrase. We got it?
Somebody got it.
Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness. So, who is getting the $25 gift card to Hudson's Canada's Pub?
Mike, the Michigan fan.
Oh, my Lord. So, this person has a park named after her in the city of Edmonton. This person, the second clue was 17. This person won 17 Alberta Ladies Amateur Golf Championships from 1957 to 1988. The third clue was Halls of Fame. This person, who unfortunately passed a few years ago, is in the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame, the Alberta Golf Hall of Fame, and the Edmonton Sports Hall of Fame. The fourth clue was hyphen. This person has a hyphenated last name. Fifth clue is golf. It's a golfer, as we've laid out. And Highlands, the park that's named after her, is by the Highlands Golf Course. It is Betty Stanhope Cole. Betty Stanhope Cole is the mystery athlete of the game. And if you think that was hard, it was supposed to be.
Well, and we know Mike, the Michigan fan, is over at the Highlands.
All right.
So
I always think
this would be right in his wheelhouse.
I always thought he lived in Bermuda or something. That's just his second home is in Bermuda.
Second home. Yeah, second home.
So that I would hope that is a name people know. Because I remember, watching Al McCann do CFRN news and sportscasts, and she would get coverage.
Coob will reach out to you, Mike, the Michigan
Did you
fan.
see what he just posted? We have a ladies pro-am at Highlands named after her. I probably would have been fired if I didn't get it.
This is true.
I'm surprised he didn't get it earlier. But that was a tough one. But sometimes they're going to be tough. And I can pick any athlete I want.
You can. You have. You will continue
I will
to.
continue to. We've had sprinters. We've had boxers. We've had several hockey players. We've had football. We've had a lot of football or baseball. We had Ichiro on Monday.
Yep.
So who's it going to be? When do we have games next week? Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday? We'll see. I'll have to put my thinking cap on. Oh, I have one already.
Oh, how coy.
We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Go there now and book your private consultation. Okay, let's do, what do we want to do now? What are we going to do? You want to do Game of the Night now?
Yeah, sure.
Game of the Night presented by
Play more tables and games.
From ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for, visit Canada's Game Room experts. Locations in Edmonton and Calgary are online at playmoregames.ca. Sorry, what's the jingle again?
Play more tables and games.
Less Sweet than the Nasty Chat says, wonder how many clues Stauffer would have needed for that trivia. I don't know. He's pretty clever. Bob has an incredible memory and incredible knowledge of Edmonton sports. He definitely would have known who Betty Stanhope Cole was. Wouldn't surprise me if he interviewed her at some point. But sometimes on the Face-Off show, we would do a quiz for Stauffer, and I would just ask Bob random sports questions. He did pretty well. And he would say, ask me anything. Don't tailor them to hockey. He's like he wanted me to try and stump him. And I rarely would.
He is a bit of an encyclopedia.
Yeah, he has an incredible memory.
Incredible recall for the strangest stats.
Yeah.
And memory of...
I think Bob would have got that one.
Well,
probably after golf.
Why don't you ask him tonight? Well,
he's probably listening to this show and knows it already.
You're right. I wonder what his handle would be in the nasty chat.
Oh, I have my suspicions. All right, our game of the night. Okay, we both have an obvious one. Red Wings at Oilers. Okay, I'll let you go first today because I've stolen yours some other nights.
Well, the Oilers have a game in hand on Vegas right now, so win tonight for the team would be good, but Vegas is also playing, so that would be my game of the night, barring the, of course, Detroit and Edmonton, but going to be doing some scoreboard watching as Columbus visits Vegas. That game starts at 8.
So the Oilers and Golden Knights both have 67 points. The Oilers have a game in hand. So they are placed first in the Pacific Division with a better points percentage of 670 to 657. So an Oiler win and a Vegas regulation loss puts the Oilers 2 points ahead with a game in hand.
Yeah.
I'll also give a game of the night mention to Anaheim at Calgary, because Calgary is now a point behind Vancouver for the second and final wildcard spot in the Western Conference. And don't forget this, too. The Flames are only 3 points behind the Kings. Right? The Kings have gone on a bit of a mediocre spell here, 3-6-1 in their last 10. Now, the Kings do have a game in hand, but Calgary's, I always say look up in the standings, don't look behind you. They're probably thinking, let's push up and get into third in the division. So Anaheim, well out of a playoff spot. I will say Anaheim, Calgary, also a game of the night to keep an eye on. But of course, Wings and Oilers, and the Oilers debut of John Klingberg is the game of the night. And we gave you some secondary ones as well, courtesy of
Play more tables and games.
I still can't believe that's a thing. That's how he said it.
Now, Reid, what point? And I mean, we're 2/3 through the way through the season.
Yeah,
Almost.
what game 54 is
54.
officially 2/3? Yeah.
At what point do you really start breaking down potential matchups, playoff matchups? I know it's
like
it's
after game 80.
Yeah, like it's so fluid, but in most instances, Calgary is staying in the hunt in the West, but it's a 5-point drop down to Utah. And as you know, that's just, you can't just make that up, right? Yeah. So, you're starting to see things come into form there. But that Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay is in the second wild card spot at 55 points. And Philly, who's 7th in the wild card race, is at 52. There's going to be so much movement there.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll be able to get a head start on it in the West.
Jack says, should we nab Brandon Saad? I assume Jax means the Oilers, not we at Edmonton Sports Talk. I guess my question would be is how many, not reclamation products per se, but how many Kapanens and Klingbergs do you need on the team? I think Speck kind of wrote that today too.
Well, and that's not really where the Oilers need the help or the depth.
But I do think the Oilers might be interested.
Yeah.
There's a Bowman relationship with Bowman there. Again, I don't know if I would necessarily go after him. Even with Klingberg, I would have said no just because of the amount of time that he missed.
Yeah.
Now, and as I've said, now that he's in the lineup, I'm not going to harp on what we talked about before. I'm going to say let's evaluate him and hope he plays well. I would lean towards no on Brandon Saad. What about you?
Yeah, because you're right. There's enough castaways here already, right?
And that's not a fair term, but that's kind of what we're using to simplify it.
It's simplifying it. And honestly, I think right now the focus should be on who's here and fine-tuning that and finding, how to oil that machine properly to get it ready for the playoff push. That's it. And find that big ticket defensive defenseman that, there's clearly so many of them out there. Take your pick and bring one in.
Steve Johnson, is E. Kane coming back? We're still waiting. Well, still waiting. We don't have a timeline. He's like Stan Bowman. What did Bowman say? We are assuming he's coming back, but we don't know when. And it's kind of what Evander Kane said. He's going through the other thing now with the knee, after he had the core stuff taken care of. So we don't know about that. I think if we see Evander Kane, I think it's in the playoffs. I think he's on LTIR for the rest of the regular season.
Wow, when he had that media availability that we played on our show, green shirt, green background, you might remember that day.
I do, yes.
That was kind of, at least for me, a conclusion that I drew was that, okay, this is now, they're doing the thing. They're doing the Vegas model with Mark Stone, have a fresh, healthy Evander Kane back for the playoffs. Now, you also did say, though, that you don't know, and I mean, nobody knows, but you had your reservations about saying that he will play for the Oilers again.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going to happen. Like, what if something else happens through this recovery process and then he's not even ready for the playoffs? I just think we got to consider everything. Thank you. Well, let's see how many thumbs we can get to. We'd love to get as close to 200 as possible. Well, we have surpassed the threshold for a double word of the day, so we're going to get to that. And, of course, if you've been texting Jay throughout the afternoon, that's the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999, River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. Here comes the Coob with a sports update.
John Klingberg makes his Oilers debut tonight while Kasperi Kapanen sits out due to illness when Edmonton takes on Detroit. Get set for the action right here on EST when we go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas at the bottom of the hour at 6. And the Four Nations captains have been announced today. Sidney Crosby will lead Team Canada. Connor McDavid and Cale Makar serve as the alternates, with fellow Oiler Mattias Ekholm as Sweden's alternate. Victor Hedman will captain the Swedes. Alexander Barkov leads Finland. And Austin Matthews sports the C for the Americans. Right now in the NHL, 5 games are live, seeing the Jets leading the Bruins 2-0. The Caps and Sens scoreless, while the Wild and Canadians are tied at 0s. And we also have the Lightning up 1-0 on the Kings near the end of 20 minutes. In the CFL, the Elks have released Brett Boyko after he spent the last 2 years with the club, playing in 29 games for the Green and Gold, while in Toronto, Max Scherzer and the Jays have agreed to a 1-year deal. On the court, it's the Hawks down 48-34 to the Cavs, and the Wizards trailing 42-29 against the Lakers before the Timberwolves throw down with the Jazz, and the Rockets play the Grizzlies on a 5-game NBA slate. The final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Okay, thanks for checking out the show today. We appreciate helping Jay with the top 3 for Food Sausage. He will be selecting in the Handsome Man Draft tomorrow on the Hangout from 9 to 11. Our off-topic topic for William Huff was things you appreciate or like about our Chief Operating Officer, our coup, Matthew Iwanek. It is his birthday today. We had a lot of very nice things. Tom Gazzola's in the nasty chat. Tom, maybe you could say something nice about Matthew Iwanek as it is his birthday. Tom, you're going to sit by me at the rink tonight? I hope so.
We did have another limerick come in, Coob. This one comes in from Waddy in Cloverdale. As you know, we were asking for Iwanek coup-themed limericks. Iwanek the EST coup. One could argue he's the glue. A Tecmo star, golf's under par, surrounded by a great EST crew.
Who's that from?
Waddy in Cloverdale.
Really good. Great pacing.
Yes.
Great length of lines for lines 3 and 4.
Yeah.
That was and great message. That was an excellent limerick.
I mean, at this point, the cat's way out of the bag. That Reid really likes a succinct, very to the point.
Well,
lines 3 and 4.
Lines 3 and 4 are supposed to be quite short, right? Like
yes.
I'll read this again. The limerick page off of Wikipedia. So it says it's traditionally a humorous drinking song with obscene verses. We generally don't like those too much. So it's the rhyming scheme is AABBA. The first, second, and fifth line rhyme, while the third and fourth lines are shorter and share a different rhyme. So it's not just me harping on that. That's how it's done.
That's the rules.
Right. That was a really good limerick.
That was very good. Very good. Very good.
This is a good page. It even goes how the emphasis is supposed to be on the syllables when you read it, if you want to take it that seriously.
Getting comments on your outfit change, as you often do, leading up to an Oilers game. Grant Morgenstein. Well, the maroon and blue Reid handsome.
I just put on a jacket.
Maybe you get drafted in handsome draft tomorrow.
Unlikely.
Silver fox.
Am I a silver fox? Is that how old I am now?
Well, your beard
I
would suggest.
Well, my beard is, quite white.
I think it looks fabulous.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Gazzola has not posted anything positive about Iwanek.
Well, that should tell you everything you need to know, Reid.
Goodness, Tom.
Looks like, you know what? Gazzola hates Iwanek.
I think that's the
story.
The only thing we can arrive at.
Until handsome Tom proves it otherwise.
So Dustin Nielson is predicting a Bouchard power play goal. Steve Johnson is predicting a Klingberg goal. But then he has an upside-down smiley face. So does that mean I'm being goofy? But then he also says that would be awesome. I don't know if you mean it or not.
I think it would be awesome.
That would be awesome if Klingberg scored. And Bouchard scores, quite frankly. It'd be great if all 6 defensemen scored.
I would like that too, yeah. It would sure be a story for tomorrow, wouldn't it? It would be funny if Klingberg, pours one in.
Got on the second power play with 12 seconds left in a power play and scored.
Or, an assist. 2 assists, 1 goal.
Will they even put him on the second power play? I don't know. Some games we don't see the second power play.
Steve Johnson says, I mean it. It would be. Yes, I would agree. It would be great.
I want to remind you this about the special teams tonight. Now, we know the Oilers' PK is not great overall. 21st in the NHL, 77.4%. But since the start of November, over 83%. The Wings' power play is good. And for this month, it's over 30%. But for the season, 27.8% is 4th in the NHL. But here's something else to remember. The Oilers' power play this year is 7th, 24.4. The Wings' PK is 69.6, 31st in the NHL. So the Oilers got to get in there and skate and check and draw penalties. And I said maybe the penalty kill has been winning them more games than the power play. Maybe the power play can win this one for Edmonton tonight if they can get on it.
My mom has sent in a limerick for Matthew.
Uh-oh.
Happy birthday, Maddie. You are so very chatty. Great radio voice over your choice. SDs can drive you batty.
I will decline to critique your mother's limerick.
Why? She's a big girl. She could take it. I thought it was good.
It was pretty good.
It was it was nice and simple in the
got
3
to
and
the
4.
point.
Got to the
pretty
point.
Pretty good. Well, we got well over what do we had 172 thumbs. Let's see if we can just get to 180 by the end of the show, just to pick another plateau. So that means whenever we get to 130, Jay gives me a word of the day. Whenever we get to 150, Jay gives me 2 words of the day. Samuel, can you come in here?
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they gotta say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Thank you, Samuel. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bud. The first word of the day, and this is a trick one, Reid. I know you like these tricky ones. Cousin.
Cousin.
It's not what you think.
It is not a relative.
It's not
And it's
Cousin.
Cousin. Wow, I don't know this one. Wow, I don't know what else is cousin. I'll say, if it's that different and tricky, I'll say Kuzin. Yeah. Hey, Rick. Yeah, thanks for bringing your tuba, smartass. You walk around with that thing just to mock people who are wrong. Can you imagine walking around in public with a tuba, and then whenever you heard somebody say something incorrect?
Cousin. Cozen.
C-O-Z. Oh, okay. C-O-Z-E-N.
This is a verb.
Now I have to guess what this means. I will say to stow away food or items in preparation for a potential disaster. I don't know why I thought of that.
To cousin someone is to deceive, win over, or induce them to do something by coaxing or trickery.
So I cousined my dog into his kennel with a bowl of soup.
Well done.
I don't know why I picked a bowl of soup as what you would entice your dog with. The dog would be like, okay, it's fine, but you need steak or a cookie? Like, I don't want to have to lap all that up. My chin's going to get all messy.
The organization cousined scores of people by persuading them to participate in a fraudulent investment scheme.
Oh, nice. Okay. I got to give a bonus point to Jax for the first line of the limerick Jax has suggested, and I will just leave it at that. Jax, we're going no further. Let's agree that we now keep it under wraps.
Grumpy Cat emailed you a limerick.
Oh, from Grumpy Cat. There was a man from Alberta who dreams of living in Sparta. He became a coup after engineering a coup. Could he celebrate his birthday in Jakarta? That's pretty good.
I got another one here that came in from Big Slam Nasty. Today's birthday is Matty Ice. Coup so official you need to say it twice. Glue guy off probation, a well-deserved jubilation. Reid Wilkins' suit game is nice.
Oh, good. Okay. That's great.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Samuel, can you come back here?
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they gotta say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then
Samuel,
you know what I'm saying.
Samuel, you can just stay in here when you're doing another one. You don't have to go back out.
You don't have to go to the office.
Oh, he likes the chairs out there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Samuel, where are you going tonight for dinner? Okay, Phase 3 Food Court, West Ed. Same place he went last night.
He goes there every night. You'd think that would be a busy place for him.
Oh, Jason Leduc. Jason, I forgot to reply to your email. I got your song. We'll have to figure out a way to work that in. He emailed me a song a couple days ago, and I'm bad about replying.
Okay. The second word of the day, Entelucky.
Oh, jeez. Entelucky?
Entelucky, I believe is how it's pronounced. Entelucky.
Okay, Entelleeke. Oh, there we go. How do you spell that?
Entelechy. Entelechy. Entelechy.
Entelechy.
Entelechy.
Well, CHY. Oh, my goodness.
This is a noun.
That's a noun. Oh, man, I can't even. Yeah, redo it and send it again, Jason. That's fine.
The community center was the entelechy of decades of fundraising and planning.
The end result? It's like an end result of
a realization or actuality as opposed to to a potentiality.
Oh, so it's like the fulfillment of a plan, sort of.
Well done.
Wow.
Wow, I skunked you today, bud.
Yeah, I got nothing.
That doesn't happen. No,
it happens quite a bit. It actually happens quite a bit.
I don't know. You were on a good pace there.
Those words are very obtuse. I don't know if that's proper usage of the word obtuse. Cousin, meaning to do something through deception, sort of. And then entelechy, which is the completion of a, what is it again?
A realization or actuality as opposed to a potentiality.
As opposed to, so it's very specific.
That's the most confusing definition I've come across.
So what, you're saying that something is real that somebody thought was fake? So if somebody's like, so if somebody came back,
maybe they thought it couldn't happen.
If I went to Evansburg, and when I was in high school, they were building a community center, and I say like, oh yeah, I'm going to see the stupid community center. No, Reid, the community center is an entelechy.
Maybe my broadcast career is an entelechy.
Well, you're off probation, baby. Whew. All right, we got to go. Tom and Hernan will take over the stream with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers and Wings at 7. That's awesome. Everybody's great.
Well done.
And then we will have the postgame show after. Apparently, the Henway's not great for driving, and I've seen it. We've had a couple other messages. I guess wherever you're driving, be safe. I didn't realize it was supposed to snow that much today. I should check the weather more often, but be safe out there. I'm heading over to the rink. Big thanks to Zachary Kubish. He is the glue guy, Jason Milne. I'm Reid. Enjoy the Oilers and Wings.